ain't trying to be talking to the dang on public, just to my people and folks that know to be here. All right, evening. I just need one place vocally to be able to do my mix. We go back here to this setting here. I want to talk here this evening about colonialism and how the dominant society works. I really want to talk about that. All right, because it's a real dirty and horrific game here. And I'm going to speak to it through, I want to say 1994, I think 93, 94, Rwanda's mix up that they have there. For the Hulu and the Tutsi or Tutsi, whatever, I want to pronounce this correctly. Those two clans, and where one felt like it was better there than the other, due to the resources in which you would see not Dutch, man, one of those white societies here, Halls, come in and provide this upon them. All right. I'm going to go and run through the mix of this damn story. You can see bones and skeletons. Yeah, the story was horrific, man. All of it. Every piece of it, man. All right. Ridiculous. And all of this shit was configured. At the end, in a matter of weeks, you had about like 800,000 people killed, man. All right. All pointed to colonialism.
The case where recognition was total, unanimous, and entirely posthumous. This is the anatomy of 100 days of silence. Genocide doesn't suddenly happen. The series, we examine 4 cases of mass killings which satisfy most, if not all, the criteria to be classified as genocide.
I was 9 years old when the genocide started in Rwanda.
Rwanda appartient à ceux qui le défendent vraiment. Et vous, les DMZ, vous n'êtes pas des Rwandais.
This is RTLM, a highly influential Rwandan broadcaster whose hate propaganda helped incite violence.
One of the striking things about the Rwandan genocide is how quickly it happened and how many people who had no prior history of violence ultimately came to participate in the genocide and participate in different ways.
On the 7th of April, 1994, RTLM called on the Hutu to avenge the death of the Rwandan president.
When the genocide against the Tutsi happened in 1994 in Rwanda, the initial press reports talked about it being an explosion of ancient tribal hatreds, the centuries-old conflict between the Hutu and Tutsi.
The world has spent 30 years asking how ordinary Rwandans became killers so quickly. So how do you turn the radio, the one thing everyone in a country trusts, into the instrument of its own undoing. Rwanda is a small country, 26,000 square kilometers, about the size of Belgium. By 1994, more than 6 million people lived inside it, one of the most densely populated countries on the African continent. Many communities were rural and tightly interconnected, where neighbors often knew one another personally.
In Rwanda, there were Hutu and Tutsi and Twa, the three ethnic groups, before colonialism. But the meaning of the terms was very different than what we think of it as today.
There were fluid social classifications tied largely to status, occupation, and cattle ownership, and movement between Hutu and Tutsi identities was possible.
Rwanda is an incredibly integrated place. These are intimate relations between Hutu and Tutsi, same family, same communities, same workplaces, same schools, same language, same religion, same customs.
A Hutu who acquired cattle could become Tutsi. A Tutsi who lost them could become Hutu.
You know, this is how they put forth their little rich class versus the class that they wanted to go ahead to call the poor class that they discriminated against. And this is how they started to do this upon the cases of just cattle. All right. So understand that person was just as black as you sitting right there. But because they possessed cattle and you didn't hear Hoss, they were Tutsi or Tutsi. All right. And you were Hulu. You got to understand, for the Hulu that they put there, all right, those people were the more impoverished. These were the folks that wasn't going to get shit. All right. You was going to get played games with. All right. And you were going to be at the bottom of the barrel. These are real events that took place here in Rwanda in 1994. I had to be about 6 years old.
A Hutu who acquired cattle could become Tutsi. A Tutsi who lost them could become Hutu. In the 1930s, Rwanda was still under Belgian colonial rule, and the authorities conducted a census and registration process.
The colonialists who came in were steeped in the ideas of social Darwinism, the idea of racial hierarchies in the world, and the idea that all of the world could be divided into different racial groups.
This is all in the same practices of what they did in America. This is in the same practice everywhere that these bastards going at here. Let's go ahead to pick and divide and go ahead to slide and trade people up by race. Let's do those things here.
But Belgium was not the first European country to govern Rwanda. That was Germany. But the Belgian colonial authorities did turn the more fluid racial categories into fixed administrative identities. They used physical appearance and racial theories to classify Rwandans.
That is, they said the Tutsi are a superior race of people. They are white-like, lighter-skinned, and are actually so-called Hamites who came from the north, maybe the Middle East, and they came and conquered this more lowly Bantu Hutu population.
Because the colonial administration controlled the state, it translated those ideas into policy.
There were taxes that the Hutu had to pay that Tutsi did not. There were opportunities for education and jobs that the Tutsi got to experience.
And that racial interpretation then got encoded in identity cards eventually.
Identity became fixed. People could not move between categories.
Right.
They could not contest their category.
What screws you. Because if I am this Hulu type of person in here, not Tutsi, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. I ain't getting shit. Resources are taken away from me. Don't nobody give a shit about my plight or what I'm crying about, dude. Doesn't matter. All for this racial hierarchy that these white folks put in place, and they showed you how they did it here. All right. These will be the ones we are the modeled citizens or the original people who are something like the white folks, and you are uniquely privy to take over and to resume power over this group over here. Therefore, you will have the hierarchy when it comes to benefits and resources and all of that. You see, this white supremacist system and colonialism does not just, I told you, it's global. It doesn't just stop in America. All right. That's why I tell you, when people do arrive at the U.S., they have their own philosophy of some sort of white supremacy because it's been practiced and done amongst their people. All right. And rather they participated in the atrocities or they were the individual facing the hard shift or the grunt of the blow. But no matter what, when you hear some of these damn foreigners come to you talking this shit, oh, I'm from my country, I don't know racism, you are full of shit. All right. White folks wouldn't have it any other way. This is why you see folks in here with bleaching cream and shit trying to get so damn light. All right. Because they understand the lighter people in that country live better. They get better opportunities. They eat higher off the hog, baby. All right. That's their hierarchy, racial system here, which they sit up in here. Some of them try to claim don't exist. Of course it does. That's why you come over here buck dancing like that. All right. No, you got a philosophy on mistreatment based on race in your homeland. All right. This is what we uncovered as we talking here this evening. I got this and a whole lot of other stuff to talk about, but follow me.
Categories. They could not contest their category.
And that happened at exactly the time when the division between Tutsi and Hutu mattered so much.
As Rwanda moved towards independence, the colonial authorities and the Catholic Church alongside them shifted their support toward Hutu political participation. Some moderate political forces pushed for reform in cross-ethnic politics, while conservative Tutsi elites resisted Belgian-backed majority rule reforms. The long-excluded Hutu were the new allies.
When independence came, the Hutu, who were the majority, said, freedom is not just the end of European rule. Freedom and democracy are the end of Tutsi domination as well. That was the argument.
Right, exactly. All right, and they saying the Hulu would announce the European allied people in here, which say they get more access, they get more benefits, everything else. And here is the problem. All right, can I point it out here? Everybody knows this here. Being black first, I'm talking about people that are as dark as each other. If you don't allow this shit, no matter who's in power, you stay on code with each other, then at the end, they don't have shit like this. They explained to you here, in the case of mass genocide, the United Nations don't give a shit. The United States in 94 didn't give a shit. All these Western powers allowed 800,000 Rwanda citizens to be murdered, dude, as they just sat there. Oh, hold on, excuse me. They did pull up at a hospital here to get all the white foreigners that they had from other countries. If you were white, the UN loaded you up on their trucks and wrote you off to safety. Now, what you would hear in those cases there afterwards is a bunch of rapid shots going off from them killing people, coming outside unarmed with their hands up saying, hey, we need help. All right. So never believe your United Nations shit. Yeah, they're in there for protections and to look out for the world globally. You right, dude, until you talking about a bunch of black people. All right. And then you guys can mass slaughter. You can kill your way through without any interruption. All right. Because like I said, once they went to pick them white folks up and put them in the back of that truck, baby, once they did that, all right, they can hear people getting killed off there. The same folks that they had to go past that had the machetes standing in front of where the hospital was at around the corner, took their asses right there to the same crowd that thought that rescue and help was on the way. No, ma'am. No, sir. All right. Nope. No, just your death here. Let's go ahead and keep rolling. Let y'all get more of a scenery of what happened.
They made.
In 1959, the Hutu-led uprising, backed and later protected by Belgian colonial authorities, burned thousands of Tutsi homes.
So the European intervention indirectly contributed to identity formation that ultimately became the foundation of the nationalism that animated the genocide in 1994?
There was hatred that was ingrained in people for a long time. That's something that people were always being reminded that, you know, there are Hutus, there are Tutsis, but Tutsi, they are different. You know, they are the enemies. They are subclass citizens.
The killing didn't begin in 1994, but in November 1959. By the mid-1960s, more than 300,000 Tutsi fled into exile. When Rwanda became independent in 1962, Belgian colonial rule ended, but the ethnic classification system it had institutionalized remained.
We were always, every now and then, being asked to line up in different categories: Tutsis, Hutus, and Twa, the minority group in Rwanda. And I remember at the very first time when I was probably 7 or 8, when we had to line up. I went home because I did not know what was my ethnic group. I went home and asked my mom, and she said I should line up with the majority. As adults, they did not want children to feel that we are a group that is destined to be killed or to something bad.
The Rwandan Patriotic Front, or RPF, was founded in 1987 by Rwandan refugees, most of whom were Tutsi. In 1990, its armed wing crossed from Uganda into Rwanda and started the civil war. The RPF translates as the FPR in French. For President Juvenal Habyarimana's government, the RPF was a military problem.
Essentially, you had a government that decided to fight a civil war by trying to destroy the minority Tutsi population.
Yeah, the minority Tutsi population here. All right? Yeah, trying to destroy that. So they already had a military sitting there. They already had a person there of power. Let's keep rolling.
They were called Hutu power. They were within Habyarimana's government, military officers, propagandists, politicians, journalists, who believed that any concession to the RPF was a death sentence for Hutu rule. When the RPF invaded in 1990, a pro-Hutu power newspaper called Kangura had published what it called the Hutu 10 Commandments. It declared that any Hutu who did business with, or married, or employed a Tutsi was a traitor. It also declared that all strategic political, military, economic, and security positions should be reserved for Hutu and referred.
Keep in mind, I'm for all terms of Black empowerment. I don't give a shit where you live at here in the world. Please hear me out clearly, family. I'm for Black empowerment, dude. Meaning, you know what? Even for this case here, instead of us taking all of our arms, taking every piece of our ammunition, everything that we have, dude, and just centering and circling this here to take care of whatever this problem is that you think exists that white society created, why not go after the French people? All right, you can make it look like it's one way and then be gearing everybody up to come after their asses and to get their funky asses out of your country. They started this funky ass system. And if they understand that everybody there ain't going to be with it, nigga, then they're going to have to get on board, despite what their personal issues is with color and trying to divide shit on race. You need to be on code. You see, I think as a damn freedman, and that says here for this portion, guess what? If one portion of Black people is suffering, we all fucked up. All right? Yeah, we've seen this shit forever. Oh, a few crumbs can get flicked here to the do-goods and the ass kisses. All right, and the what you know, daddy-o, slick-talking niggas. All right, they can get something. But for everybody else, rather you're low education, rather they don't put you a part of their clique, or you ain't down for kissing ass, you ain't no brown-nosing ass nigga, you just do your business and go on, take care. All right, you will face the blunt of the grow of the persecution of some fraud bitch ass niggas trying to go ahead to control power underneath of this white supremacist minority system, dude. All right, that's why you crash it on its damn head, dude. It should never be able to take a lift off the ground. And the only reason it did is because y'all had some backstabbing niggas around here that said, hey, I'm good getting resources over the rest of the black folks as long as I'm straight. You have to have a piece of a mindset like that to do your own fucking people like that. All right? Yeah, you're in agreement to this. These French folks or Bangladesh or whatever they are, you have to be in agreements with it, baby.
To the Tutsi as the, quote, common enemy of the Hutu. By 1993, after 3 years of civil war, international pressure forced Habyarimana to the table, and the Arusha Accords were signed in August 1993. They required power sharing and the integration of RPF and government forces into a new national army. For Hutu power, this was unacceptable, so they began planning to destroy it. A group called the Interahamwe, which began as the youth wing of the ruling MRND party, was now transformed into a paramilitary organization.
This was done supposedly in the name of self-defense, but we also see it as a way to help sort of lay the groundwork and prepare for the violence that followed.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, and I'm the CEO of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next webinar where you can drill deeper into our bond offering. We currently offer
The Rwandan government imported machetes by the hundreds of thousands, and a new radio station was launched, LM.
I think RTLM was so instrumental, both in the lead up to the genocide and then after April 6th, when the events began to unfold.
RTLM was financed by hardliners and people close to the president, Agathe Habyarimana's inner circle and network. But RTLM did not sound like the state. It played the music people loved. Its hosts used street language, joked, gossiped, and called listeners by name.
RTLM was one that said things that you couldn't say on the official.
And with that, they had implicated themselves as one of the people. I want y'all to factor in. No, this is not America. We're talking about Rwanda, but how important the media is. All right. You see, media that you respect speaks to you. It don't speak to a whole bunch of rich ass dirtbags in here, never coming close to the citizens, never even seeing your gripe. They ain't going to the same grocery stores. They don't know the same goddamn gas station attendant that you know. All of these little small pocket things that speak to the damn community, knowing certain signs and roads, nigga, and what takes place over there. All right. Yeah, that's what makes you official. All right. When the people can stamp who you are, dude. All right. No, I know that nigga personally. All right. He a cool ass nigga. All right. I spoke to him. He all right. He good peoples. All right. That's what strengthens your name in the goddamn community. All right. So they understanding grips of power where they were grabbing and attaching themselves into people's living room, nigga, at your dinner table. All right. Oh, important. They just called one of y'all names out on the radio. All right. No, it brings a certain media that legitimize the people and only the people, nigga. All right. Yes, indeed. And once it establishes that type of damn credibility, that same media becomes dangerous, Halls. All right. Yeah, because people start to follow this shit like the gospel. Nobody's missing this. Everybody is the who's who in town is sitting back in here listening to that publication. All right. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you how media works here. You talking about establishing law and all this other shit. Hold on. Fair use.
Official radio station. And they really did have personalities that helped to promote the ideology of violence.
It sounded like a friend, one that would call a Tutsi an Nyenzi, a cockroach.
Avis à tous les IND qui nous écoutent, oui, à tous les IND qui nous écoutent, Le Rwanda appartient à ceux qui le défendent vraiment. Et vous, les Burundi, vous n'êtes pas des Rwandais.
RTLM used the term Inkotanyi, RPF fighter, with Tutsi civilian, turning a military term into a broader ethnic slur. The hosts use Inkotanyi, meaning an RPF fighter, to refer to all Tutsis, from soldiers to children. They used the term Gukora to work.
They're playing on this existing cultural notion of doing your duty, doing public duty. And so the messaging about going out to do your work is very clear.
But hate speech alone doesn't move people from their homes to roadblocks on the streets. RTLM did something more sinister. It named names, addresses, license plates, hiding spots.
What the hell did I tell everybody about being attached to the community? Make sure if you haven't, go to both dang on channels if you guys can. Smash that like button on both of them, please. All right, one of them you can visibly see me. The other one has just this video up here. The one where you can see me will be up just in case we have a malfunction with the one where the video is up, just so everybody can understand why I got two up. I'm trying to make sure I keep the balance here. But knowing that I'm having frequency problems here, sitting here. But this is also my office. So let me go ahead to finish sitting here what I'm talking about here. Yeah. All right. No, with that legitimacy, they're yelling out hiding places, license plates, numbers, people's names. All right. This makes it easier for folks who are hostile about the political situation in the first place to come after you. All right. No, I've put a red marker, a check across. I put a hit on you effectively anywhere you go at when I tag your license plate. Huh? Anytime you think you can rest, I put a hit on you by telling everybody where you rest your head at. So you're never safe. You have to abandon these places in here in which you used to call salvage, or a car you used to love. You can't get in it, or you must change the license plate, nigga, immediately. All right? Due to the detriment of your safety. God forbid they putting that license plate with the damn car. They could be still looking for you with a changed license plate, man. All right, for folks that know exactly who you are, as long as the name is same. All right, yeah, they got you. All right, this is what goes ahead to militarize media, nigga. All right, yes, indeed. Hold on here.
Turning a radio into a manhunt. The media case judgment in the UN Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda documented broadcasts of this kind.
There were already lists of people to kill in some communities, particularly in the capital.
On the 6th of April, 1994, a plane carrying the presidents of Rwanda and Burundi was shot down as it approached Kigali port.
Go through this whole join and spill. I did a couple days ago in here. Now I couldn't really get too much anything else done with how short some of my stuff was recorded. So I had to just go ahead to run the video like that, 5 hours long or not. But in the same sense here, yeah, I couldn't move the way I wanted to. So I will be doing a lot more narrating and talking up to make sure that people understand the context of where we at now. But this right here in Rwanda's story of the genocide is very important, based on who and what he was to the people, and how the radio station already had them preparing themselves. All right. They already had trucks coming in, dropping weapons off. All right. They already had all this shit on standby, dude. All right. Just in case some shit cracked off, that they were prepared for war. All right. Hold on.
Everyone on board was killed. The attackers have never been clearly identified.
What happened is, after he was killed, you saw these hardliners who were part of his ruling coalition essentially take control of the state, and then take this extreme position that in order to win the civil war, that they were going to eliminate the Tutsi population.
Within an hour, roadblocks were set up across the capital. By late that evening, Kigali was full of checkpoints. Then RTLM came on the air.
find some firearms, find some grenades, time to get organized. This is right after that plane crash. We're talking about history here. Let's go ahead and keep rolling.
It claims that the RPF had assassinated the president and that Belgian UN peacekeepers helped carry out the attack.
And keep in mind, the media is already powerful at this time. They've already taken off. They've already been sensationalized here to this point. All right, very much so. All right, everybody's looking to it. They're following it. You said license plate numbers are getting spit out, people's home addresses. All right, got your name. All right, so if you were already violating before the president died, people was coming to check for you. All right, now the president is dead. Them people are in an uproar. They already got weapons around. Hold on one second.
So I was in the room sleeping with my cousin who was 4 years old. We heard gunshots, and my mom to our room to check on us, and she didn't say anything, but we could see that she was scared. She had fear in her eyes because she didn't know what was going on.
Agathe Uwilingiyimana was the prime minister of Rwanda, a moderate Hutu who argued for power sharing. In the event of the president's death, under the constitution, she was one of the key figures who could have led a lawful transition. On the morning of the 7th of April, the president guards surrounded her residence. The 10 UN peacekeepers assigned to protect her were captured and killed. Uwilingiyimana and her husband were killed in a UN compound. A UN peacekeeper named Mbaye Danya managed to smuggle their children out. After the murder of its peacekeepers, the Belgian troops withdrew. 2 weeks later, on the 21st of April, the United Nations reduced UNAMIR's force from around 2,100 personnel to 270.
What? Hold on. One more again. That's important. Okay.
After of its peacekeepers, the Belgian troops withdrew. 2 weeks later, on the 21st of April, the United Nations reduced UNAMIR's force from around 2,100 personnel to 270.
Listen to me thoroughly. This is the UN setting up to make sure that those black people in Rwanda were murdered. All right, keep it clear. 2,000 troops to 200. Yeah, you trying to make sure you get everybody out of the damn way that's worth a damn to you. All right. And just keep the bullshit here, Halls, whether you don't give a shit if they die or not, due to it's getting ready to be chaos in here. And this is not something in a case where you go ahead, Halls, and provide thorough protocol. The tension is so thick in the air, you can cut it with a knife, baby. And you mean to tell me you take somewhere upwards to about 1,800 troops away from the situation? All right, come on now. All right, you're talking about shit where they've been beefing forever, dude. Based on resources, based on the Belgium, based on white folks in their color system. Nigga, this shit's heated, and it's about to get all the way real. And they take somewhere upwards away from about 1,800 troops away. All right, you know what's coming.
After the murder of its peacekeepers, the Belgian troops withdrew. 2 weeks later, on the 21st of April, the United Nations reduced UNAMIR's force from around 2,100 personnel to 270.
Immediately after the president's death, the Presidential Guard and some other elite groups went into the city with lists of journalists and moderate priests and pastors and human rights activists and moderate Hutu politicians and also Tutsi leaders to target. And they systematically started killing off those people. Set up on all of the major paths and roads in the country.
trade of things in here. And you take these individuals and you turn them into murderers. You got the media sitting up in here praising you. Thank you for getting rid of the cockroaches. All right. And at the end, no, the UN really doesn't do anything. They sit there and not do shit. The US government, well, we sat back and we put together more laws on why we can't get involved in other people's conflicts. That's what the US did. If you want to look up for 1994. All right. Yeah. So Rwanda itself was on its own, dude. I'm going to fast forward here from there because everybody knows what happened. The ending result, baby, the ending result here, all right, is, as they said in here, 61 convictions, all right, 14 acquittals, all right, and 93 people indicted. That's it upon 800,000 people killed, dude. All right. One of the biggest damn genocides they've had over here. You talk about white supremacist colonial power and how does it burn down and destroy? All right, right here, dude. Anywhere that you go ahead to inflict this type of recipe, it's never worked nowhere around the world. All right, it has made the place you live in more dangerous and hazardous due to these things. All right, yes, indeed. All right, freedmen have always been a calm head here and between the lanes of all the bullshit and the persecution between right and wrong. This is why I told you, even for countries such as Taiwan, when they're having problems with China, no, they throwing up Black Power fists and putting on Dr. Martin Luther King t-shirts because we are the only example of them having proper resistance against the oppressors out here. They can't name to nobody else first, except for freedmen. All right, just us, where we made a difference, and then our damn kids is still sitting here. All right, yeah, that's when it matters, nigga. When you don't tuck up your butt cheeks and run, nigga. All right, yeah, that's when you the man. And you sitting your ass in somebody else's country running your damn mouth. Who cares, dude? All right, because you ain't do shit for your own people, nigga, and everybody else know. All right, I don't care how you stand. I don't give a shit what car you drive. I don't give a damn who employed you. All right, there's certain shit that you can't sit up in here and talk in front of us. All right, we'll let you know. All right, yes, indeed, man. I don't give a rat's ass how well you can cook, nigga. All right, none of that shit matters, dude. When we talk about protecting homeland and setting a thorough pedigree for ourselves in here, that will last forever, nigga. All right, because we are where the most predominant and successful Black people are in the world, nigga. Right here. All right. Yes, indeed. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead to get to some of these other stories, but in recent news, a brother got caught. Him like some white dude too, trying to fake being NFL players and scam this woman out of over $1.2 million. Young ladies and young brothers, be careful, man. All right, fair use.
This morning, this man seen here wearing a San Francisco 49ers helmet and catching a football on the beach is now behind bars, tied to videos he posted like this one, allegedly portraying a professional football player. Accused of defrauding dozens of women out of $1.3 million. 35-year-old Dejan Love, along with 18-year-old Taylor Chan, accused of targeting women on dating apps and social media over 4 years. According to an affidavit, they conspired to create fake financial documents that appeared to show they earned millions of dollars in investments they never made. Love would allegedly find women online and attempt to convince them to send money to him or Chan, who he claimed was his financial advisor.
They've charged them with wire fraud, which means that they basically received money in a fictitious way. In other words, it's a scam.
As part of the alleged scheme, authorities say Love pretended to be a wide receiver in person and on social media to project he was wealthy, working out in 49ers gear, and posing with an expensive car.
Looking sturdy, looking sturdy.
He allegedly developed romantic relationships with some women and claimed he wanted to build wealth and a future together.
And because, no, he looked decent enough for women to say, all right, well, maybe he does play football. I don't really watch football like that, so I wouldn't know who played for the 49ers anyway. This is what happens. All right, that's why I tell people to be sharp, man. Folks be looking at me crazy, saying, T, why you always trying to know a little bit of everything? Why you? Because of shit like this. because I know it's a bunch of people out in the world that ain't shit. All right. And if they could take advantage of you, they will. So your best bet is to know something, nigga. Quit hating. All right. Some of y'all need to get the dick out your mouth, man. All right. Never sit up in here and question another man on why he getting gamed up. You just go learn what you need to learn. If you feel like what they doing ain't important, fine. All right. But that ain't no need to press to go ahead. And I'm really going to mark this off to down talk another man or whatever they doing, dude. All right. Some of you niggas act like hoes and you wonder why other people treat you a certain way because people can smell the energy on you. All right. Yes, dude. All right. I am interested in anything here in the circumstances that I ain't previewed on because I know that at some point down in my life that this may be the piece of information that could help me or possibly go save my life or get me further here. All right. Knowing is every goddamn thing. All right. I know these young ladies wish they knew. Whoever's out of $1.3 million, I know they wish they knew something. All right. 1 second.
The affidavit shows screenshots of Instagram posts. Officials say he advertised non-existent investments, which Love claimed would generate massive returns to his victims. The alleged deception went as far as creating fake bank and investment accounts and balances to make their business seem real. One woman allegedly losing more than $87,000.
The problem with these scams is if the money is not readily available to turn around and give back to the victims, then the system either has to order the suspects or the defendants to pay it back, but they may not have the ability to do that at this point.
And officials say none of the victims ever received their money back. The criminal complaint says if any of them asked too many questions, they would be blocked online. And the FBI believes there are more victims out there, and they're encouraging everyone to reach out to the FBI. Rachel.
Oh, yeah, already 26 victims. Quite the story.
Yeah,
okay.
sure. So 26 people didn't pay attention. 26 people just kind of, yeah, you got to, you can't. And that goes to tell you what parts of the world is still trustworthy upon bullshit, man. All right. Gullible. All right. Everybody here to date, I'm going to tell you one thing in here. All right. Stay solid. Yeah. Hold on. Stay solid here. Stay 1,000% solid. All right. The laws are changing. The world is changing. And with that, if you do take an L, there's no guarantee that somebody's going to help you get your change back, man. Nor the bank is going to negotiate with you however it was taken, even if you do press charges. All right. Certain cases, they don't seem like they're going to have to be liable here, dude. And when you know that that's up in the air, protect everything that you have, dude. All right. There are always other options here than to go ahead to use you here in these factors, depending on what you're talking about. Now, if you feel like being generous, that's one damn thing here, Hoss. But understand anything that you give out here, Hoss, is into a place where you may never see it again. Charge it there to the game. All right. You got to be mentally prepared for that. And don't be playing around with money and strangers, dude. People you don't know like that. That's a bad move. All right. Fair use. Mm-hmm.
of Justice wants a federal judge to throw out Arizona's voter-approved law that gives in-state college tuition to undocumented students. 12 News journalist Bram Bresnick tells us Arizona is the 21st state sued by the DOJ over similar laws.
Yeah, Tram, back in 2022, Arizona voters narrowly approved Prop 308, which cleared the way for in-state tuition for young undocumented immigrants. The leader of the Prop 308 campaign tells me the ballot language was vetted. The dreamers who would benefit say this is one more move by the Trump administration to pressure them to leave the country that they consider home.
The argument for Proposition 308 was simple.
Kids going to college to become productive, self-sufficient people in our economy, that's a good thing.
Republican activist Tyler Montague led the winning campaign for the ballot measure in 2022. Students who graduated from an Arizona high school after attending for at least 2 years would be eligible for in-state college tuition, regardless of their immigration status.
Prop 308 was carefully crafted to be in compliance with federal law and other state laws.
The U.S. Department of Justice disagreed.
And this is where you're having your mix up right here about handing off all this free college shit and what have you and stuff that they ain't got to pay back. While you want every nickel of tuition and college debt from our brothers and sisters out here. They want every dime, but they weasel these folks in here to give them a quick little easy pass. Nah, dude. If your ass ain't supposed to be in these land, you damn sure ain't supposed to be getting no damn free college tuition. All right. Yeah, that's the type of shit the Democrats do here. And now it's being challenged in damn courts. Hold on here.
There you go. It says Arizona's law is unconstitutional. The lawsuit stems from President Donald Trump's executive order last year targeting Prop 308 and similar programs in other states. The order directs the Attorney General to stop the enforcement of state laws that provide in-state higher education tuition to aliens, but not to out-of-state American citizens. Democratic Attorney General Chris Rawuncuttruth. Now her office will defend the law in court. Mays said in a statement, "This is about states' rights, and I will vigorously defend Arizona's right to set its own rules, especially ones that are passed by voters themselves."
At least people that I talk to feel confident in Arizona as being the strongest law to defend.
Jose Patino is one of the leaders of Aliento, an advocacy group for dreamers.
I am not as confident if I go to the Supreme Court because how the courts have been so politicized.
Dreamers were already dealing with unusually long delays by the Trump administration on applications to extend their work permits.
I've always been able to get it. I don't think I have the same certainty as before.
The DOJ lawsuit is the latest obstacle that has dreamers wondering if the only country they've ever really known wants them.
A lot of people are thinking of like, I need to migrate. And then some of us who love this country, and I'm like, I can't just see myself leaving, but there might be a case, right?
And according to the Arizona Center for Investigative Reporting, about 720 undocumented students received in-state tuition last year at Arizona's public universities.
And that's one college, and that's one college too many. You asking me about you going to go leave, I'm thinking about spending power. And when you talk about the cases of whatever that $7-something trillion, whatever it is in spending power, 1.7, whatever in spending power, family, they don't really spend money with black people like that at all. They're not going to soul food restaurants. They're not coming to our beauty supply stores. They ain't coming over there to get with us to go get their damn nails done. Let's just keep it a bean. All right. They don't kick back a dime to Freedmen. They suck up every penny they can get from us, dude, and don't reciprocate shit. They take their money and send it back to their homeland. So that's where you can go and return. It should have been enough money for you sent to your homeland for you to be good. Because you damn sure ain't been putting it in our pockets. I know that's right. All right. Yeah. That's the way I go ahead to conflate that situation. I start doing the math. All right. Nigga say, hey, man, well, what about the economy? Well, what about it, nigga? All right. What about it? All right. Please tell me. You know more than I do, dude. I'm black, dude. What I understand from my circumstance in America is that they send these foreigners right there in our community to go ahead to run the mama and pop store, to go ahead to run the beauty supply store, to go ahead to run the nail salon, to go ahead to run the subways, to run all these stores that we're in. And at the end of the day, they ain't passing around no pot back to go to make sure that the same black community who has enriched them, we're going to make sure that those people are straight. That's not what they do. So it is not our job then to follow behind them when big bad Trump boot come crashing downhill in this big pot of bread that you got here, Halls, to say, hey, man, well, what about their spending power? What about this and that? What about it, nigga? All right, right. Your energy should be the same way. All right, we can only reciprocate what we have been given, dude. That's it. We ain't been given nothing but a whole bunch of lips and folks trying to jump on your ass, dude. All right. Yeah, attacking our women, killing our children off, dude. All right. Yeah, goddamn it, Rick Chan. All right. This is what the hell we've gotten. All right. So as far as we weren't responsible getting you here, we will not be responsible getting you home, nigga. All right. No, nigga. I don't know. All right. That's what I would say speaking here upon Freedman. I don't know what you're going to do. All right, let's go. NFL players seeking NCAA return sparks a backlash. And this is people playing in the league here who I guess want to go back. Possibly because money is in college football now or college basketball. It's in there so that you can go ahead to get a check and get paid off your likeness. And anybody with good sense yeah, you want to build your brand and your likeness. If you go ahead to see Deion Sanders' son, Shador Sanders, whatever his trademark is that he has there, okay, and him branding, he was able to cover somewhere about $20 million before he even stepped in the NFL. So that would trademark on why they would want to go back to the NCAA. It's money over there. All right, yeah, and this helps build your brand for the long haul.
Is quite the contentious argument we're seeing here between both parties. Good morning. It's a growing standoff this morning between the NCAA and a wave of NFL rookies who want to go back to school. Now, overnight, the NFL putting its foot down. The league tells teams in a new memo that any player who leaves to return to college this year will be ineligible to play in the NFL in 2026. Those players will become free agents in 2027 and can't be re-entered into next year's draft. And now the NCAA is speaking out.
Launch one-handed grab.
This morning, the NCAA weighing in on football's growing controversy after a judge opened the door for professionals to play at the collegiate level.
That's never really been part of the cards or part of the game or part of what people think college sports is supposed to be about.
More than a dozen NFL rookies are being actively recruited by universities after a Louisiana court made them eligible to return to college for a fifth year of play. Many fans voicing their frustration.
College football is the Wild West right now.
This is the most chaotic eligibility situation college football has ever seen.
College football is absolutely broken. There is no reason this should be real.
A number of coaches pushing back too.
So to let any of those players come back, fair or unfair to them, it's unfair to the sport.
However, others are defending the move. LSU head coach Lane Kiffin is at the center of the debate. He's built up a highly ranked roster, including tight end Daquan Wright and defensive lineman Xavier Harris, both of whom were recently recruited from NFL teams.
At the end of the day, because of these rulings, they're either going to play for you or they're going to play somewhere else around the country.
The NCAA views it as an issue of fairness and wants lawmakers.
What the hell do you mean fairness? The fairness is to be young, resilient, and have all the speed and everything else. They're good. Now, you can say they got NFL experience if you want to sit there to say fairness, but your NFL experience only matters if you can come to college and dominate. If these people are coming in here and there's mediocrity, all right, yeah, all this other bullshit, well, then the money you spent don't really mean anything. It's in the individual. All right. Only thing I can go ahead to look at for the test is if you got knowledge, and that other thing is possibly performance enhancement drugs if you want to go further. But skill is still skill at the end of the day.
Step in.
Having them come back and play, what that really does is take opportunities away from kids who are expecting to be able to play this year. Everybody in college sports supports the Protect College Sports Act, which is currently in the Senate and is going to be up for a vote. That would create clarity around this issue because it would not permit pros to come back and play in college sports.
But some conferences aren't waiting to take their own action. The SEC and the Big Ten moving this week to officially ban professional athletes.
The big question on that, there'll be a unified force amongst the major conferences that we don't want this.
And some of them said they ain't going to have it. They're banning this shit. All right. Which is going to be, it's going to be up in smoke. So many people are going to have different opinions about this. My opinion is let it be judged by the maintenance there or the skills, man. People are going to play where they want to play at. At the end of the day, the fans are the ones that's getting the gift. This ain't about protecting your damn legitimacy across the board unless somebody's cheating. Do you understand? Physically cheating. Other than that, all right, my money is on the younger, more resilient players, dude. All right, you can bring their old asses back around here. That don't mean that they're going to go ahead to beast mode all the way out here. What guarantees them that? If you already against the best competition in the world and you out there getting your ass kicked, who's to say you're going to come into college and do anything? All right. Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, there's accountants and you playing against dentists and all this other shit in college. I get it. All right. Yeah. But for the cream of the crop and the teams that are great like that, the ones that the Sabins have built out here and others, you got trouble on your hands. And those young folks want an opportunity and they're willing to do whatever they have to do, even if it means go through your big ass to get it, nigga. All right. Only a certain amount of folks are going to get picked for that NFL draft. Hold on one.
But will that rule hold up to a court challenge is really the question.
And right now, the pressure is only building. The ACC became the fourth and final power conference to officially ban professional athletes from returning to college play. But this fight is far from over. A Texas judge just granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA and the SEC, clearing the way for more than 40 players to suit up this season. The next hearing.
Okay, and there you have it. All right, appellate court judges and different shit like that. No one judge said, hey, man, yeah, we're going to freeze this shit for a minute just to see what happens. All right, and remember what I said, man. Skill is what's going to define everything, man. You can know shit all you want to. If what you know ain't there to benefit you, then all right, it's worth nothing. All right, yeah.
September 11th, guys.
A lot of like legal whiplash.
Yeah, quite
like, which way is
forth.
it going to go?
Forward. Gotta move forward. Make sure you support the channel, share this video, of course. Got to move forward. Oh, Mr. Nancy. All right, grand entrance. And as I tell about this story, some people have been seeing this here on Facebook here. Mr. Nancy was the example there for I guess the first slaves that you ever had there to have an uprising, an uproar. The first slaves that were supposed to be taken there to America. All right. Those slaves, all right, had an uprising, started whooping ass. All right. And freed themselves. And then they lived amongst the Native Americans. That's an actual and real story. All right. But they're taking a piece of that and to me use Mr. Nancy as to say he came down to tell them slaves, all right, for the terms of history, what was awaiting for them. All right, and how long it was going to take place. Very.
Nancy.
You want help? Fine. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, a man got fucked. Now, how is that for a story? Because that's the story of black people in America. Shit, you all don't know you black yet. You think you just people. Let me be the first to tell you that you are all black. The moment these Dutch motherfuckers set foot here and decided they white, and you get to be black, and that's the nice name they call you, let me paint a picture of what's waiting for you on the shore. You arrive in America, land of opportunity, milk and honey, and guess what? You all get to be slaves, split up, sold off, and worked to death. The lucky ones get Sunday off to sleep and fuck and make more slaves and all for what?
No, let me add some more. I can't keep the video up there per se. I ain't trying to catch no damn strike from these people. All right. That's why I ain't putting it up there. I can play the audio if y'all wondering. All right. But, all right. Now, let me go ahead to keep continuing here to keep rolling. All right. Hold on here.
For cotton, indigo, for a fucking purple shirt. The only good news is the tobacco your grandkids are gonna farm for free is gonna give a shitload of these white motherfuckers cancer. And I ain't started yet. 100 years later, you're fucked. 100 years after that, fucked. 100 years after you get free, you still getting fucked out of job and shot at by police. You see what I'm saying? This guy gets it. like him. He's getting angry. Angry is good. Angry gets shit done.
Oh, we put a double dose in that. Oh, yeah. No, anger gets shit done. You say Mr. Nancy as he was looking at him. Look how he looking at him. All right. Oh, yeah. And here's the kicker of this story. The biggest kicker of the whole story, plaintiffs. This shit got him fired, dude. It was so powerful for the sense of black empowerment. They had to get rid of him. All right. The clip was still released to the public. So we still got to see it. So we got to visibly see what the hell they seen on this show. All right. And it scared them white folks to death. All right. No, they let that nigga go. All right. No, he had too much of the ancestors up in him. All right. And they thought he would have some Mr. Bojangles version to spit to the slaves here. All right. But he was cold. He was spot on. All right. He was directly calling out the goddamn colonizer as they've got him hired for a damn role. All right. That is the spirit here of the freedmen being able to touch our history here and be behind a damn camera and a microphone. All right. Scared the shit out them white folks. All right. Yes, they had to let him go here, dude. They said, oh, hell no. All right. Yeah. Mr. What you call it here? I'm trying to remember his name. All right. Hold on here. Yeah. Mr. Nancy. All right. Mr. Nancy had to go. All right. No, this nigga's too much. All right. You got white folks' palms sweating around there. All right. Face turning red. Fake laughing and shit. All right. You know that nervous ass laughter that they do. All right. Yeah, that's fear. I always tell y'all this. All right. We start talking about black empowerment and shit. Them niggas get weird as hell. All right. You ain't heard them all day. They didn't make a peep. All right. You start talking about black empowerment. Them niggas start peeling themselves out their skin, yelling, moving around all funny, doing sporadic weird shit you ain't never seen them do. All right. That's how they move. All right. Yes, indeed, man. I'm talking about getting as loud as they can. Look, hey, look, hit dogs hollering. Look. All right. There you go. Thank you. All right. Emphasis on what I just said. All right. Because they can't stop being nosy either. That goes hand in hand with the Karen-like joint and the fear. All right. Yeah, all of it. Whoa, what's your hotel or what's your room number? Where do you live at? What are you doing? Hey, nigga, what you got going on? This is them mentally deputizing themselves and to understand on his own, just by himself, with his own thoughts. I understand the damn creator, dude. No, I know who you are. All right. White supremacy can only survive if it's blanketed without a flashlight on it. You put a flashlight on it and it falls apart right in front of you. All right. No, it can't hide itself. All right. It's got to start acting out, yelling, moving sporadic. That's white supremacy. All right. Yes, indeed. No, it's not allowed to hide, dude. Not in the nature of itself. All right. Oh, yeah. All right. Shit. I've seen in many a moons. I've watched hit dogs hollering right there in front of me. I'm like, damn, what the fuck is wrong with her? Oh, fear. All right. Yeah, I got to slow my thinking. Now I'm thinking too hard. Oh, you're scared. All right. Scared people act like that. All right. Yeah, well, you grown, but you acting like you 5 years old or something. All right. Something's wrong with that person. You understand? All right. No, you know you're like 45. All right, damn near 50 years old, but you acting like a kid because you've heard something that's uncomfortable to you. All right. Yeah, I'm talking about this from a psychological degree. All right. Yeah, it goes hand in hand. We ain't never going to have anything here in this world where the corniest of all of them won't be sitting up in front of you trying to tell some corny ass jokes. All right, looking stupid, trying to change the subject, nigga. All right. Yeah, trying to change the subject, trying to put this on anything that has something to not do with them, dude. All right. Oh, this guy. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Yeah, bitch. You ain't got to listen. All right. Yeah. Who invited you? All right. Yeah, you ain't got to feel sporadic and angry about anything that you're not invited to. All right. Or somebody told you they didn't want you. All right. What's the need to get an uproar about that? All right. I don't get people. I really don't understand your white supremacists out here, dude. You just find a reason to complain. All right. No, white folks already the Diamond Society already gave you everything because you're white. All right. Yes, indeed. And then on top of that, when you do see black folks here getting a moment, it is your duty here to try to throw a monkey wrench up in that, dude. All right. I don't want to spoil any of the white supremacist goodies I'm getting. Let me make sure that this nigga does not inspire any of the others. It's too late. All right. Nigga, you about a decade late and a dime short, nigga. All right. Yes, indeed. All right. The hell you talking about? All right. Even now. Shit. Man, acquiring all the weapons in the world, and we still move like a Mack train. All right? Yeah. Give me 1 second here.
Dr. King, I was too young to go to the march. My father went, and I was, because of Martin, got relatively close Mrs. King, his show. And one of the things they always would say is that the movement is an ongoing thing and that you never can settle saying we've reached the so-called promised land. You got to keep struggling. And we are in a very, very serious place where we're seeing everything Dr. King and that generation fought for and got done is under attack. Voting Rights Act with the Calais decision by the Supreme Court, and then redistricting, and then the DEI killing that is certainly impacted the Civil Rights Act. Because you can't even discriminate with derivatives. So it calls up on us that come out of it. I started at 13 in SCLC, New York. I was from New York. And so I grew up in this movement. Martin born in this married Martin. So we're doing what we feel that we had to do. When the decisions came down, I got the calls that I get from the dynamic duo saying, Al, what are we going to do? We need to do something. I said, well, it's off year because usually every 2 or 3 years we do these marches. This march came out of that phone call. I said, well, I guess we need to go to Washington and we start putting it together. So it was a result of what is in us to continue with Dr. King and Mrs. King and their associates organized. And we felt the responsibility to do it. And we were absolutely enthused about the turnout. I mean, you had thousands.
Out the cases of the marches, I believe the March on Washington or whatever he's speaking on. And it's like Martin Luther King's last objective, I told y'all, was to go to Washington and get our check. And if ain't none of these bootlicking niggas talking about that shit incorrect. You see, this is what he was talking about before he died, dude. Nothing else. He understand that a mistake was made upon some of the stuff he was doing here because the number one priority wasn't just the cases of order segregation and desegregation. All right. It was the fact of seeing where black people were going to be set up for the future, baby. All right. Yeah. Our kids, our economics, the damage of the damn GI Bill, everything that they screwed us out of. All right. To make sure that our money was in line with the rest of America. They use that to pass our money to buffer classes. And you got old dried up niggas like Al Sharpton who defend this shit every damn day. All right. No, I got an example of the woman he invited up there when I want to say a day ago.
From all over the country. Some cities couldn't even get their buses for little reasons that I'm investigating. But mostly thousands of people came of all races. And you had the political spectrum from Hakeem Jeffries and Governor Spanberger to AOC and Senator Sanders. You had Jewish rabbis speaking, Muslims and faith leaders in the Christian faith because it showed the King's spirit and the King kind of methodology that we must all come together to save this country.
Absolutely. We streamed it on MS Now on our YouTube page, and I watched the whole thing from home. Okay. I had to do some work in the kitchen today.
You didn't march?
This is, not today, Rev. I had to get ready to march to this table tonight. Here's the thing. This wasn't just nostalgia though, because I've had a lot of conversations with my millennial friends today, and they're like, oh, why do we need another march? And what I loved is that we didn't only stream the speeches, we streamed the march. We saw you holding the banner. I saw Spike Lee at the front walking.
Yes, and thank you for clarifying that this is what you're talking about. The reason why you don't need it, baby, because it only coexists of wearing out shoe leather. What's the objective? What's the alternative here? All right. No, you got a bunch of niggas marching down in the road. All right. When we had changes, when you understood that black folks were prepared to get something, we were going to be in a different space here. We understood as a people what we were marching for. But to just do this shit, just to do it, it's become the standards of a photo op, baby. All right. That's it. Yeah, for bootlicking niggas who don't never do nothing for black people to sit around in here, all right, for one day there in a year and to act like they give a shit. All right, that's it. All right.
With Yolanda Renee was right there. And I think it's important because marches, when people come together, it is a physical manifestation.
Who's in the front, man? Spike Lee, Al Sharpton. All right. Cats who are already financially well, other politicians, people who are financially well off, homes paid for, cars paid for, people who ain't going through the same shit that you and me are day to day. There's the difference. All right. Hold on here.
Of the grievance that we are talking about. And the grievance right now is real. There is an assault on the people of this country, and they are using black people and immigrant folks to do it. But it's an assault on all of us. This is from a North Carolina election official.
But I will give Spike Lee one part of his props. Spike Lee, at least for all the people there, if you look at Tyler Perry and others, he actually put black people on, dude. All right. Yeah, I can say that from his films, he put black people on to making some of the most money they ever made in their career. All right. Can't say the same thing for Tyler Perry. Hold on one.
Says that they have not received any guidance. I'm going to read this. This is from our colleague, Fallon Gallagher.
USD, as a change-making institution, provides the opportunity for law students to find a community.
Wake County, North Carolina Director of Elections, Olivia McCall, said her office has not received any specific guidance from the State Board of Elections regarding changes to mail ballot procedures in the event the court order is lifted and the state must comply with the new USPS rule. She does not even know how the systems required by the rule, including an online portal with a list of eligible voters, would work. The confusion and the chaos is the point. I know the legal folks are doing their thing in the courts, but the reality on the ground is that the officials who are supposed to administer the elections don't know what's going on. And I think that's what the government wants, because if y'all don't think that they're thinking about seizing ballots when they literally seized ballots from Fulton County from an election 6 years ago, I don't know what to say.
Do you want to comment?
What did we say in the naked room? You say I'm swinging from...
I need y'all to see this from the cases of free college for tethers, what the F, and he said sicker born, even every minute, that's wild. He said finessing. Yeah, absolutely. What's going on here, Leonard? I see you in the building. Yeah, man, it's a bunch of bull crap everywhere you look up and down, but I want to flip my camera here on this side here to show y'all the bootlicks at this damn table. All right, because I'm often making these damn descriptions and depictions upon things, and look at who's at this damn table. All right. And I told you, no, the MSNBC has one of the biggest damn little man-hating joints that you can find, Democratic joints. And yes, it's about the hate towards black males. And look at what black males can speak. 3 old decrepit, right? And then 1 buck broken. All right. That's who can come in here. CNN as well. All right, hold on here. CNN as well here, y'all. CNN as well. 3 buck broken. All right, hold on here. No, 3 old and decrepit. That's what I'm going to say. And 1 buck broken. That's what you get. That's the math. All right. Yeah, and I'm going ahead to give you some good shit there for free. All right. But I had to flip my camera for a second. It's like, all right, this is what I'm looking at. 3 Sambos. All right. And then you get goddamn 1 nigga that's buck broken. All right. If you're a male, that you can go ahead in these conversations. Let me get this off of here. All right. Because none of this has to do, in my personal opinion, about the circumstances there of MLK. It has something to do with people trying to eat off of that. And you may not eat off of MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., without going ahead to put any points to reparations. You're not going to do that. All right. And they figure some type of way they can sway them way through it. Oh, the March on Washington. Nigga, get your ass up out of here. All right. Yeah, that shit don't hold no goddamn credibility, dude. It don't. You didn't march the shoe leather off of the March on Washington and to where it don't even mean shit anymore, dude. It doesn't, dude. It's a joke. It's something for clowns to gravitate to. All right, real quick here. Make sure you smash the like button to make themselves feel like something. All right, let me go ahead and keep rolling. Tate brothers. All right, no, it's saying Tate, Andrew Tate sold $1 million dream. It was all fake. And now they're burning their asses. I told you. Internet game. All these bigwigs. Everybody you see. Santini never lied to you about this. All of it's bullshit. All right. All of it's fake it till you make it. All of it is nonsense. It's rented cars, rented homes, nigga. Rented jewelry. All right, the whole 9. It's none of it is damn real. And you have to wait till Andrew Tate and his Tristan Tate gets put in handcuffs and back in jail to realize it's a damn hoax because their lawyer was sitting in front of the judge and had to tell the damn truth. All right. Yeah, hoping that this would be the one thing that gets them out of jail. Alex Jones had to do the same thing. All right. His court situation. Hold on.
Our last story tonight is about 2 men. 2 men who built an empire on one simple promise. Look at us. Look at our cars. Look at our watches. Look at our money. We are rich and powerful. We have figured life out. And if you want to be like us, we can teach you how. I'm talking about the Tate brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate. You may have seen them on the internet. If you haven't, this is what you need to know. The Tate brothers are very big social media figures, especially Andrew Tate. He's built a massive following, mostly among young men and boys. And how did he do that? By selling an image of wealth, dominance, and hyper-masculinity. A life where money is everything and women exist to serve men. Thankfully, that image has died a slow death. The Tate brothers are in custody. They're in jail in the United States. The UK wants them extradited. That's where they face 59 criminal charges, including rape, sex trafficking, and offenses involving sharing explicit images of children. Of course, the brothers have denied all of it.
As to the question, how do we feel about today? We feel great, as always. We're positive, we are prepared, we are prayed up, and we are ready to go in there and to inform the court as to why we've met the burden of special circumstances. Look, folks, if this doesn't meet the test of special circumstances, then I don't know what does. 1,193 days free. They have made all their appointments in Romania. They have never ran away from the law. They have leaned into the court process everywhere that they go. They're innocent men. They're free men. They're good men. And we look forward to demonstrating that to the court today.
That was their lawyer. He also revealed something else. All that wealth they bragged about, it was fake. Those supercars were rented, those yachts were part of a promotion, and much of what you saw online was a performance. That's what the lawyers have said. The court filings say the brothers exaggerated their wealth. They presented themselves as far richer than they really were. Why? Because they were selling the image of being ultra rich. The lawyers put it rather bluntly. The more outlandish the post, the more likely it was to generate views, likes, and money. In other words, the brothers were playing a role. But why are they disclosing it now? Because it matters to their bail case. Prosecutors argue that the brothers have the resources to flee, they have the wealth and the international connections, so they must be kept in custody, which is why their lawyers say it's all fake. But beyond the case, the most extraordinary part of this is the whole curated image. Andrew Tate showcased himself as a man who had it all. He looked into the camera and told young men, "You are poor because you've been lied to. But I know."
Him and Tristan, that 1% black, man, which I told you come back to bite you in your ass. If you wonder why some of the black support isn't even here to present itself, it's the cases of him playing around with Juneteenth, the N-word, all of these other actions in here that took place with an infinity here of just joking and playing in our damn faces, which is continuously, dude. All right. We've seen this in the case where the tables would turn and they would flip, where he started to kind of judge white society. And when he did, some of them just started biting and going off and going at his head, man. All right. We watched this. All right. And it went to show you, yeah, they okay with you throwing mud at black people, Tate brothers, old Andrew Tate. But the moment you try to bark at them about what their imperfections is from the same group that you want validation for, not only are they going to start trolling you there on social media and all this other shit, well, here comes the charges. It seems like they ain't stopped locking your asses up since, dude, to establish a line. All right.
The secret. So pay attention to me, and maybe you can have this life too. And millions of young boys believed it. Tate was a prominent figure of the manosphere. What is the manosphere? It is a network of online communities and social media content. It is filled with misogyny, almost like locker room talk about women. Andrew Tate led that. He projected an image that young boys and men bought into. And that's the problem with social media. What you see online is often a carefully curated image. It is not real life. A supercar, a designer bag, a fancy house, you see it and you want it. You're influenced by it without ever knowing the real story behind the bag, a fancy house, you see it and you want it. You're influenced by it without ever knowing the real story behind the image. Because social media does not just sell content, it sells aspiration, an image of success, the perfect body, the perfect life, and millions look at that image and think, this person must know something that I don't. That's where influence begins. You don't just want what they have, you start believing what they say. You change what you buy, how you look, sometimes even how you think, all because you believe their life is proof that their formula works. But what if that life is fake? The car is rented, the house is borrowed, the face is filtered, and the success you're trying to copy was staged for camera. So the next time you look at someone online and think, that's the life I want, do remember this. You're seeing a post, not the whole picture.
Only are you seeing a post, but these cartoon characters are created, man. They're created as much as they're deleted and taken away. All right. No, there is no whatever mix is to it. Somebody was placed here in front of you. All right. They were given there to you. Now, I want to go back here. Trump is afraid of the black vote. Rep Meeks blasts Trump attack on voting. But what the hell does that got to do with the black vote? What do you mean he's scared of it? He didn't have to be scared of it underneath of Kamala Harris. So what candidate, all right, what and what politicians, what folks in here are in line to make him scared of the black vote? All right, this is what I mean with mischiefs in these titles. I want y'all to see it too. Look at this shit. All right, yeah, and I'm just read it like you would read it going past here. Trump is afraid of the black vote, ... Rep Meeks blasts Trump for attacks on voting. Nigga, you need to blast yourself. All right. No, you're walking around in benign neglect terms in here and all of this trash. I want to just hear the beginning and then we're going to roll on.
Thousands of Americans marched in the nation's capital to defend the right to vote. The Trump administration was in court fighting to put new restrictions on mail effect. Trump's Justice Department filed an appeal today asking the U.S. Court of Appeals to overturn a lower court ruling blocking key parts of Trump's mail ballot executive order. Trump's new USPS rule could allow the Postal Service to refuse mail ballots from states unless they comply with new federal requirements, including providing voter information and using specific ballot envelope formats. But the first mail ballots are scheduled to go out in just 7 days. Nearly a third of American voters use mail ballots in 2024, and that's what makes today's march so important. 63 years ago, after the historic March on Washington, Black Americans are still having to march for the right to vote. 6 decades. People marched for this right. People were beaten seeking this right. Many died for this right. Many died exercising this right once they had it. And now here we are again, fighting new efforts that could make it harder to vote, especially for Black and brown communities.
Especially for illegal immigrants, nigga. No, for illegal immigrants. First and foremost, politically, Black and brown is not even a phrase, a topic that is popular that you are supposed to be using anymore, because it speaks directly for illegal immigrants, because there's no Black part that's done for. You just look out for the brown. All right. Benign neglect policies force you to include both together to make Black people confuse us as if we're actually getting something, nigga. All right. And the joke is out, nigga. The jig is up. All right. We get it. All right. So every time you say it here, we can quickly go ahead to attach that thought to illegal immigrants, nigga. That's who you worried about voting. This ain't got shit to do with MLK, because as he said, for their urine immigrants and peasants here, Halls, y'all have economics coming into this country. I'm paraphrasing. You already set up. All right. Hold on here. He wasn't talking about you.
Today, thousands returned to the very place where Martin Luther King Jr. told America that he had a dream. Here is what Martin Luther King Jr.'s youngest son, Martin Luther King III, had to say today.
It's now 2026, and we have dictator wannabes who try to minimize, with a silly focus on semantics, the vital importance of our being aware or awake, if you will, to the many unjust and inhumane changes taking place now and over the last 20 years. We thank God that our ancestors repeatedly woke up building this nation. They woke up with courage and faith to speak truth to power and get into the kind of good trouble that the late John Lewis talked about.
Truth to power and good trouble don't mix together. You're stealing quotes from the new Black media. All right? And mixing it with Democratic trash, nigga. I like Bernice King. She's a real one. You're not, nigga. It's Martin Luther King Jr. III. You're a bootlicking Samba. And this is why the Democrats love you so much, nigga. All right? Receding hairline having bastard and this joker in here. All right? Yeah, he ain't shit, dude. All right? I like Bernice King. All right? Sister Bernice keeps it real. Sister Bernice stands on reparations for freedmen, not this bald-headed mess.
That helped to open doors for the marginalized across the country, regardless of race, age, or gender. The fact that we still have to fight to maintain and renew voting rights in this country is beyond abysmal and a truly national disgrace.
Today's march was also a call to protect Black Americans' political power, especially in the South, where voting rights have been under attack. Reverend Al Sharpton and his National Action Network were among the organizers of today's march. From the Lincoln Memorial, Reverend Sharpton called on those in attendance to take the fight home with them and organize.
We come 63 years later because it is clear to us that in 63, when they came to this spot, they came because there was segregation. They came because there was denial of human equality. They came because we could not vote. Because they gathered nationally in 63, we went back to the South. We went back in the northern areas and we organized. And what we must do today with all the thousands that is here, go back and we're going on a tour together to organize. We must turn this country upside down with those elected officials that are taking for us the right to vote.
Nigga, we don't have to stand with anything that does not have cash payment reparations for freedmen. All right? You got an ID card? You got your driver's license? You can vote, y'all. All right? That's it. You got a birth certificate? You good. All right? You a freedman? You was born in this country? You good. All right? All this old simpleton shit, nigga. All right, we don't have to galvanize anybody. Y'all have consistently got your ass whooped at the voting booths for ignoring Black people. All right, we asked for cash payments. We didn't ask for you to go save illegal immigrants. And this is why you're preparing the ass whooping that you're going to get in November as y'all sit around and turn and get hostile once again towards Black people, asking us why we didn't get up and go vote for nothing. All right. This ain't something that's for us. This is for illegals, dude.
Let me be clear. 3 things we march for today. Voting rights, which has been stripped. Affordable health care, which has expired. And we fight for diversity, equity, and inclusion, where we must be considered at the workplace and at the executive hall and in government agencies. Let me say that if there are those that are of another persuasion watching, don't pervert the dream, because after you dream, you wake up and you confuse those of us that have dreamed the dream with being woke. We're woke with the dream. Don't apologize for being woke. Apologize for dreaming and staying in the bed.
What the hell do you mean? When he says staying in the bed, voting and staying in the bed, like, what are you talking about? Dreaming and staying in the bed. There ain't nothing for you politically to get out the bed for that doesn't have Black people cash directly to us, dude, and no one else. All right? There's nothing else there for you to get out that political bed for. Otherwise, you go ahead to hit the snooze button and take your ass back to damn sleep here. All right? We are wide awoke to bullshit, Al Sharpton.
Apologize for dreaming and laying there acting like you are all of that. We are woke because we woke up with a dream in mind, and we're in Washington, D.C. to proclaim the dream is still alive.
Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Gregory Meeks of the great state of New York. Congressman Meeks, thank you as always for coming to The Last Word. You were 9 years old when Dr. King delivered his I Have a Dream speech. Now, 63 years later, we're still marching to defend voting rights as Trump tries to restrict voting access. What do you think is at stake in the midterms?
We were at the most consequential election that we've had probably in my entire lifetime, because what at stake is a president and a Congress that is trying to roll back the hands of time past 63 years ago and go back to post-Reconstruction, where we were stripped. Jim Crow came in, and the right to vote was taken away. Poll taxes put in the way. Now here we are, after over 100 years, 150 years of fighting and making a difference and changing and making America a better place. We have an administration who now has taken away those rights, who's trying to reverse what history of American
to work, man. That's all. No absence in anything. We're gonna go ahead and keep rolling. Get this shit off here with cases of you need to be in fear of Trump. We're gonna go into the next topic. We can just roll on like that. And we are catching this next story from Meet the Press. All right. And the conversation is going to extend to that part of robot dogs, what they're using for illegal aliens. Now, I already told you there is an approval for the illegal aliens and ICE for them to use these gloves, electric shock gloves. I think they paid like $1.7 million. It has been officially approved, family, for them to go around here to use them shits. All right. But not only that, dude. Now they're talking about taking them same robot dogs like they used against our brother there to put explosives on and kill him. I want to say Michael Johnson or what you call it, Michael Johnson. Yeah, they use that there to help kill that brother. Well, they're going to be using these robot dogs as well to help execute the searches and things like that for illegal immigrants. All right, and it looks like they have been approved here. All right, give me 1 second. Because the judge, he says, declined to eliminate, to immediately block Trump's latest on birthright ship, and which it leaves a loophole where they can send some of these kids back home that have been born on U.S. soil. So we're going to go ahead to tap into those pieces. And I'm still here. Much love to y'all. Thank you. I appreciate my good people. Don't forget to smash the like button. And if you can, make sure that you do support the channel. I will leave that information in the comment section. It's also at the title of the video. But let me go ahead to get this thing rolling. Thank you.
A federal judge in Maryland declined to immediately block the implementation of an executive order that President Trump signed earlier this year. That order would restrict automatic citizenship for children born to adults working for foreign embassies. It would also block automatic citizenship for groups considered an alien enemy of the U.S. The president signed that order weeks after the Supreme Court rejected his initial attempt to limit birthright citizenship, an order that he signed on his first day in office. NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley joins me now to talk more about this. So, Julia, the judge refused to block the president's executive order immediately, but did she give any indication of how she may rule on this going into the future?
Yeah, it does not seem like it's going to be a permanent win for the White House here. What the judge was saying was just that these plaintiffs who decided to bring their challenge to the executive order under the same lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court, that they need to actually file a separate lawsuit because this is a different executive order. So it's really more of a procedural ruling here. From what the judge was saying today, it seems she really doesn't think that what the president is trying to do through this more limited slice to limit birthright citizenship is really going to pass the muster. After all, the Supreme Court already said birthright citizenship is enshrined in the Constitution. And the only way to change that is to go through Congress.
And it felt like they were pretty clear about that. I mean, is there any reason to believe that this new working of this executive order will have any different response by the courts?
No, I mean, in some ways, we already have limits for children of diplomats. You can ask that of anyone who's an ambassador working in any kind of diplomatic office here. Their children are not U.S. citizens, and they know that coming here. They're trying to say that people born to alien enemies also don't have that, and they can designate, as we've seen, like gangs like MS-13, say that they should also not have citizenship. But there's a woman who is already being brought up as a potential class member in this case who would be able to show that she's been hurt by this if it does.
Who wouldn't be able to show that, man? But here is the U.S.'s point. And this is Trump's point behind this administration. Baby, the kids ain't conceived here. They ain't. You didn't fornicate and have sex and get pregnant with this child. You brought this child along knowing that the benefits here was the land of milk and honey, and they will have access to everything that you didn't based on the loopholes of this law. All right? Hell no. Where can you flex and move anywhere else where this is guaranteed for you? All right? Well, we got to take care of some joker no matter what, just because you were born on U.S. soil. But your parents did the disservice of coming over here illegally anyway. You shouldn't have. Their grief here in the cases of saving and getting punishment here should not be the blessing here of your benefit. That's what they're saying. All right. Yes, because they broke the goddamn law, dude. Everything that is connected and surrounds them has to go with it. All right. You don't get to leave a piece behind. All right? Take all that shit with you because you did it in bad faith, my nigga. All right? You knew you were 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant coming over here. You knew that. All right? So you left in the hands of this, whatever judgment that the U.S. government was going to come down with. There was no guarantee that you would be stuck into Democratic leadership. If you were, we wouldn't be here. All right? If the president was Democrat right now. All right? But because it ain't, and you have been put on the table as a political pawn, like a game of chess, you and everything else that you brought here into the fold gotta leave together, nigga, like the coach and the quarterback. All right? Yeah, something like that. Sounds rough and harsh, but we gotta have some type of structure here.
Go into effect. So it's a matter of DOJ getting the guidance on how it would be implemented from the White House, and then these plaintiffs filing again in a different lawsuit. But either way, it doesn't seem like the path is going toward Trump actually getting what he wants here.
There's another thing that the Trump administration wants, and that's robotic dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Spend $1 million to do this, and then we're talking about ICE here. What's this all about?
Yeah, that came across my desk today. It was a little bit of a surprise on a Friday to hear about robotic dogs. You can see them here. This is called Spot. It is built by a company called Boston Dynamics. And we saw in a federal database that ICE is actually offering to pay between $1 and $2 million to buy these things. And when I talked to a senior DHS official about how they would be used, they said that they can have cameras and sensors on them so they could go into a building or a house or anywhere that ICE wants to go in. They could go in before an ICE officer does to make sure it's safe. They can detect for chemicals or any other thing that might be dangerous. I asked specifically, could these be used in force? Could there be some kind of weapon attached to it? They said they have no plans for that at this time. But there's a lot of outrage over things like this because civil liberties activists think that robotics and policing really eliminates the human element that might cause someone to stop before they result in catastrophic damage.
I think we all saw the movie RoboCop.
Yeah.
And how that ended.
I missed that. You'll have to recap it for me.
Okay, all right, Julia, thank you for that.
We thank you for watching. And
as I said, just like the other robots, you had experiments with them jokers killing people and what have you. And those dogs, yes, to answer a question, yes, they can bring weapons and attach weapons to them. They put guns, AR-15s, they have put bombs to these jokers. It is very dangerous for you to have them in there. All right. And yes, it's from some control center. It's supposed to be controlled. But what happens when these things fall off slot and they're not controlled by the people in the control system? What do they do now? All right. They'll show you here firsthand with this AI and all this shit that the computers do not mind flexing its bits of racism. And now they got these things targeting you along with the electric gloves and all of this shit. Not a good thing for you. Not at all. All right. And I go back here into this, what their primary problem is, dude. And I don't mind keep bringing this No Neck Martin point here from 2005, July the 20th, because it resonates right now. What are black people doing nationwide here, family? What are they doing? Don't forget to smash the like button, too. What is Friedman doing here? Well, nationwide, what we are doing here is making sure that black people sit down when individuals start trying to tell you to vote for nothing. All right. That's why the illegal immigrants are facing the hell that they are. It's hard to move when you ain't got no sorts of first line of defense nor reinforcements. You just standing around waiting for the Negroes to come in here to look out for you. All right. That's it. And we ain't showing up to a goddamn party that ain't meant for us, where we don't get nothing. Thus, these are your results.
I was Bishop Barber and I were talking. We were texting today. And again, this is the data he presented yesterday. I'm about to mess y'all up. In Georgia, 1,016,000 black people in Georgia did not vote. Trump won by 115,000 votes. In North Carolina, 661,000 and black people did not vote. Trump won by 183,000.
And you see these measly ass numbers that Trump is winning by? Thank you, black people. Because what he's trying to put emphasis is that black folks could have came out there in droves. All right. 3-4 times the amount that Trump got voted in and beat Trump easily here. But black people were so much on goddamn code, we said, kiss my ass. That right there is called effectiveness. When a no-neck, bootlicking nigga, all right, has no Roman authority to wag his finger at you and tell you what the hell you did wrong. All right, this is when you have crippled them as a party. They have relied on Roland for decades, man. All right, yes, they have. All right, and this is probably one of the worst takes he's had to give, because what he's telling you and the rest of the Democratic donors is that all the money and the presence of him in the world is ineffective. All right, I can't get the needle moving to get you black support. That's what he's actually telling you.
161,000 and black people did not vote. Trump won by 183,000.
Our silence is literally killing us. Yeah. Our silence is literally killing us.
661,000 in North Carolina.
Yeah.
1,016,000 in Georgia did not vote. Overall, 90 million people didn't vote. 40% of black voters nationwide did not vote.
That's called, all right, that's called getting on code, family. All right, that's called efficiency. That's called us getting better. Make sure you smash the like button, everybody in here. All right, yo, we getting right, because 40% of all black people not voting. All right, what will crack them even harder is when they get back here 4 years later and you recognize that 50% of all freedmen are not voting. All right. Yes. No, 40 is way close to 50. And in them places you shiver in your boots, because what it spills is, if the good people in large droves don't respect your electoral system, to not even just, they don't even want to participate in it. All right. It's dead. You have no electoral system. All right. You got to have the people wanting to mind this. The government looks at these things like this and gets an ultimate fear. All right. Because what the hell are you going to do? All right, they used to having one piece of Mr. Bojangles that can come over here to galvanize black folks to get them mentally out of this space where we won't vote. Where we'll go ahead and vote, but they don't have anybody like that, dude. All right, think about all the damn bootlicks they got. There's nobody in there within white society that they can pull up to say, hey, whip these niggas back into shape. That's not going to happen. The number can only increase. As long as you play benign neglect games, you don't give off any money, and you keep doing this old frog face bullshit, all right, we're going to act like you don't exist.
Even with a black woman on the ticket, 70% of white evangelicals voted for Trump, and Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House, and he's Speaker of the House by 7,000 votes. They won the seats that gave them the House. They won those seats by 7,000 votes. That's why every little, that 20 here and 30 here, that's the election.
Two things.
And this is why niggas like that day is a number. All right, because the question is all right, what's left for you? Speaking of out in the cold, all right, what's his name? Mello, this little racist ass joker. All right, looks like New Orleans did everybody the courtesy in America to go snatch his ass up, and I believe he's been deported by ICE. Good, get your little racist ass out of here. All right, great. This is what I mean by poison being shipped into your country. They letting these bastards set up. You think you assimilating. And then that same white person sits here and turns you over, dude, because you've overstayed your visa. In other words, Joker, you're not white enough, dude. All right, not at all. All right, not when ICE show up, dude. All right, you are good enough for the pickings. And I don't give a shit how much you've dedicated your life to white supremacy. All right, this is the long con that they play on you jokers.
And a one-time prominent supporter of President Trump associated with the so-called alt-right movement is now in ICE custody. Milo Yiannopoulos is in detention pending removal after an arrest in and at the airport in New Orleans. He is a UK national. You may recognize him. He became a big media figure on the right during the first Trump term. He faced accusations of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and faced backlash for polarizing comments about sexual abuse. He eventually disavowed his support for the president and worked for both far-right ex-Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kanye West. NBC's Gary Grunlock is here joining us to get into this. I understand we just now heard from DHS on this case.
Yeah, we did. So Milo Yiannopoulos was arrested yesterday at the New Orleans International Airport there in Louisiana. They say that he is now in ICE custody, and they say he had entered the country legally in May of 2019. Clearly, he had some sort of visa. We don't know yet what exact kind of visa he had, that he was staying in this country illegally. But then he missed a check-in and missed an appointment down with the ICE facility in last month, in July 22nd. An immigration judge, because of that, issued a final order of removal, something many folks here over the Trump administration's second term have gotten. And because of that, he was picked up by federal law enforcement at the airport yesterday in New Orleans. He will remain in ICE custody pending his removal. But this is somebody who has espoused white nationalist views, somebody who has espoused anti-Semitic views.
They done let you, and they letting his funky ass know, we don't need your white supremacy to keep us going, dude. You can leave, nigga. All right? Milo. All right? No, all the ass kissing and racism in the world can't get you to grips to be able to stay here. That's not a consideration, nigga. All right? No, that is a heavy incentive for you to be gone, dude.
Incredibly racist comments online that actually got him banned from Facebook and Twitter. He's also somebody who was associated with Kanye West's presidential campaign, Tom.
Okay, and so he's soon to be out of the country.
Very likely, depending on how quickly they can get him out of the country.
Gary, thank you.
We thank you for watching.
I don't cry when chickens come home to roost. I get quite happy when chickens come home to roost. And Milo ain't been nothing but a funky ass white supremacist since he been here. What sympathy do you want us to have for him? This is what I mean by people complaining within the immigration stuff here, dude. People like Milo need to go. He shouldn't be posted up nowhere around here. What is he given other than terrorism and division in this goddamn country? All right, he should have been gone. All right. No, the sadness in the discussion is that his funky ass was able to sit around as long as he did. All right. We move forward to go to Cuba because I told you this global thing in which I watch in here covering systematic white supremacy. Yes, that's global. But then I watch the actions of the U.S. as a whole. All right. And Cuba has been something slowly they've been sitting here lurking on, tearing apart at piece by piece, blockades to them getting resources. All right. Now they're saying Cuba's energy crisis darkens classrooms as new school year begins. This is going to cause problems. They've already had to use wood, all right, like firewood to cook their damn food, leaving it extra smoky outside and all that shit before the U.S.'s resources dropped because the blockade in which the U.S. have had in place has stopped their resources from what they're usually supposed to be having from coming into their country. Thus, this is the problems that they've had in the first place. All right. The U.S. is set up here to try to be the problem and the goddamn solution. All right. And every day that you look up, Cuba is suffering different catastrophic damage nationally due to its lack of access to resources. Hold on.
Like many mothers in Cuba, Yane is preparing for the start of the school year. It's a nervous and uncertain time for her and her 6-year-old daughter, entering primary school. An energy crisis has plunged classrooms into darkness, but it's not dampening this mother's determination.
If there is no electricity, well, there is no electricity. We carry on with our lives. That shouldn't stop you. We keep going. And if there is homework to do, then we do it with this, with a rechargeable light.
Nationwide blackouts are all too familiar to Cuba's population of about 10 million people. Complete electrical grid collapses are common, and most days, 2/3 of the island sit in darkness during peak demand hours. The island's communist-run government struggles to maintain its aging electricity infrastructure. Decades of U.S. sanctions, including an ongoing oil embargo, have crippled Cuba's faltering economy. Education in Cuba is free, but there's a shortage of teachers. The country's education minister says she understands the challenges they face.
It will be a school year in which our greatest victory will be simply being able to carry it out. And that for every difficulty we're already facing, we will find the best way to compensate for it and protect that right.
The energy crisis is also affecting the country's garment manufacturing industry. The government has had to relax the country's strict school uniform policy. Less than a quarter of children have been able to get a uniform as the factories that produce them can't operate. Yane displays her daughter's crisp white uniform. She's among the lucky ones to get one. Teachers have been told to welcome children wearing more comfortable clothing and to prepare as best they can for a new school year in these unprecedented times. Mike Lappel, Al Jazeera.
And the school uniforms, as we know, even for America's sense, have been put in place to stop certain circumstances of the bullying. All right. Only thing will be changed there is certain cases of your kids' shoes. And for that, you really can't tell a difference. If some kids, if your parents are sending you to school here with certain sneakers on because they don't want you to get your good ones dirty or filthy, then that's understandable. So you may have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pair of sneakers or something. All right. It's kind of harder to depict as a child. You're not an adult. It means your parents can give you anything as sneakers. All right, long as they wearable and function and look, they're presentable here. That's it. You can't really determine, all right, economic wealth or not. All right, that's to be decided possibly on something else, but not just based on a kid's tennis shoes, dude. No, that does not tell every goddamn thing. In certain cases, it does. All right, for others, it doesn't. And I would be looking more suspicious of the kids not having based on the goddamn great sneakers that you have in here. All right, because black society, as we understand in here, period, man, you see some of these youngins in here rather get shot down, passed away here, or be murdered in the street. Their footwear ain't no more than 2, maybe 3 months old. All right, I'm just keeping it a bean. All right, so you really don't know. All right, not at all. That's why the uniforms are important. But hey, they can go ahead and do what they want here. Let's go and shift back to U.S. All right, yeah, man. Cuba's in a bunch of hell due to the circumstances of being caught up in the U.S.'s bullshit. And yes, Trump is going to come in to try to take over and dominate, just like he did for Venezuela. All right, the evidence is already there. Let's get over here.
She lost the primary, much like you said what happened in Michigan. That Stevens, she lost. She ended up endorsing the candidate there. Jasmine Crockett, she doesn't have a real constituency. Yes, she lost by maybe about 7 or 8 points or something, but she's not going to bring the black vote to Tallarico. Tallarico is going to get over 80% of the black vote. This is all about a turnout model.
I don't agree with that. I think she does have a very real constituency, and it is black voters, but it's also very engaged
They're not going to vote.
This is where I disagree. What do you mean very engaged Democrats? She got a large chunk of the black vote there in Texas. Let's just give her that. Because the black vote wasn't her problem. It was the Latino support. But the black vote will be Tallarico's problem. Because we don't trust that nigga. And I don't give a shit about some damn survey of you grading 500 people to say that all of Texas here support Tallarico off of your 500 people that you polled. That's not enough folks to have a poll on anything. All right. You just wanted a reason to say, well, Tallarico, he's getting all the black support. Where, nigga? All right. It ain't happening, dude. All right. We've already seen him in action. He just looks like a charlatan who wants to get in front of a group of black people and say all lives matter, nigga. All right. He ain't giving you nothing. He got $25 million for the little reporters and the Roland Martins and the people there in media to pander to him so he can get in office. That ain't for me and you.
I will say
it is to James Tallarico's benefit if he can pull.
But how do you do that when Crockett, instead of saying,
politics,
I'm going to actually run it from the top all the way down to the bottom, she's not doing that.
The onus is on him to do that.
She lost the.
And call it what you will, maybe call it what it is. But like I told people before, Jasmine ain't came out here forthright and said shit. All right. As a matter of fact, she said the opposite from what I heard. She said that she's going to influence people to vote down ballot. That's what she said. All right. So she's not going to incentivize anybody to go support Tallarico. All right. Not at all. Let me go on over here to make sure I got this straight, because we'll go back to CNN. All right. Where she's sitting down with Jasmine Crockett, and you can hear her deliberately. All right. And it says, Crockett, I'll be campaigning down ballot. All right. Coates is asking her, hey, what's up? What's the deal? All right. And then we got her directly on this program here on CNN confirming what the hell I'm talking about. And do I have a problem with it? No. Because the Democrats ain't shit anyway. I don't care if you support him. I don't care if you decide at the end that you're going to roll with him. All right. You don't support him, or you're going, who cares? All right. Black people are not some type of damn monolithic voters here where just because Jasmine says something that we're going to get our asses up to give Tallarico anything. All right. So it's dead already. Hold on. And if she's not able to galvanize the black vote for Tallarico, saying that she will, if he loses, they're going to put everything on her ass. All right. So she recognizes to get the hell out of the way. This is good for her either way. All right. Shit. You don't want to get caught up in somebody else's mess.
Political ecosystem. But so do you. You are often, an energy magnet when it comes to voters. We've seen the turnout that you can produce. Tallarico might very well need that magnetism. Will you campaign with him?
I will be campaigning down ballot. I think that what matters most, because when we're looking at a state like Texas, we've tried this where we've got one amazing candidate that's running at the top of the ticket. Beto is a very good example of this, raising all the money, doing all the things, running around the entire state, but it's not enough. So for me, I don't think that it should be a matter of there's just one thing that is getting me to the polls. I think it has to be something a little bit more in a state like Texas. And so for me, I think that making sure that people that maybe are getting overshadowed because it seems like it's only about one big race, I think amplifying them, making sure that I can raise their profiles and introducing them to people, that'll give something more to voters to make them say, you know what, it may be raining outside, but I got to go get there because I got to go get there for this person and this.
What it does by you doing that is it offsets a third party and a third candidate, which that then takes votes away from Tallarico. You understand? Good. All right. When people got somewhere else to look at. All right. And before you know it, that becomes a problem. This is why the Democrats as a whole hate the Green Party. All right. Can't stand them because they're coming in through the door. If the Green Party picks up any momentum and steam, they're taken from the Democrats, not the Republicans. All right. Right. Which turns this shit into chaos when you know you need that extra little percent of vote that the Green Party took from you to win. All right. That's what this does.
Person, plus I don't like Trump.
I understand, but is it an either or? Either you excite the down ballot or you.
I think for me it probably is. I think it probably is, only because I am, we've got the fire pack that's going and I'm running all over the country. And Texas is a big state. We're not talking about a small little state to kind of get around. We're talking about a really big state. And so for me, I'm really invested in a number of candidates that I didn't get to do anything for because I was running my own Senate race, candidates that I really do believe can make a difference no matter what happens ultimately at the top of the ticket. We've got to have wins.
What are you hearing from Black?
Once again, Jasmine does not support reparations. So let's keep that in the back of our mind. Nor does Tallarico. Now, I want to go over here to this damn mayor. All right. Detroit's mayor that's in trouble. Because the title is what got me here. Just the title. Don't come in here blaming us, black men, or any of the cases of the men, period, for the sexual inappropriateness of this damn mayor. Look at what this says here. All right. DPD, Detroit Police Department chief, asks men to take down photos of mayor and sheriff with X. All right. Yeah, all he can do is ask, nigga. All right, because he can't tell you to do nothing else. Look at his title here. That's it. You can ask, nigga, but then that's that. All right, he told asking men. All right, you wonder what the gender bias is in y'all funky ass party, as if there's no females out here that's posting that. All right, you always got a gender divide up here in the play here because this is part of their shit. They don't want to offend the damn women out here. All right, right, but you do this towards the black men because a good deal of us ain't gonna come support your funky ass anyway because you're not supporting reparations. Hold on.
I'm Shana Humphrey. How Detroit police handled a local man sharing photos of Mayor Mary Sheffield with her ex-boyfriend. Tonight, we are looking into how Detroit police handled a local man sharing photos of Mayor Mary Sheffield with her ex-boyfriend. Welcome to CBS News Detroit at 5. I'm Shana Humphreys.
And I'm Rochelle Graham in for Terrence Friday. Arlene Rojas Castillo has more on what happened next and what police say about the timeline.
It was very strange because I've known him for 7 years and we've talked about several different subject matters, all different types of things. And we've never talked about anything that I posted on my social media.
Jadante Smith is a Detroit activist who says he's known Police Chief Todd Bettison for years. But he says their recent conversations took an unexpected turn after Smith posted these photos of Mayor Mary Sheffield with a former boyfriend on social media. Smith says Bettison personally asked him to remove them and Smith recorded the call.
This is my ask, and it's not a big ask at all. This is me asking you. Ain't nobody told me to do none of this. You called me, well, you sent me a text. But what I would like for you to do, I would like for you to take those pictures down off your Facebook page.
Bettison says the request was personal. Smith questions whether the police chief can separate that from his official role.
He said it was him personally asking. But in my opinion, it's almost no separation if you're a police chief between your personal capacity and your official capacity when it's something that involves your boss, which is the mayor.
Smith also believes the call is connected to what happened later when police detained him and seized his phone. The warrant authorized a search for evidence related to alleged posting of electronic messages.
Yeah, but what rights do you have? All right. No, nigga got freedom of press. You got freedom of all of that. All right. The mayor, congressman, senator, this doesn't give you right to ransack the goddamn citizens and physically remove shit off of their damn social media because you don't like what's on there. All right. Should have thought about that before you took the damn pictures. All right.
And malicious use of telecommunications service. Bettison says the investigation began before his call with Smith and denies influencing it for any other purpose. We went to an event with Sheffield on Friday, hoping to ask her about the chief's involvement.
I've got to follow you. I'm sorry. Yeah, Your Honor, we do have a question.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, Your Honor, can we ask a question? Your Honor, can we ask a question?
but she left before we could ask. In a statement, Sheffield says she's been the target of what she calls a campaign to bully, harass, and intimidate her, using private photos and communication.
So then your weapons is to bully, harass, and intimidate the people that you think are responsible for this. Baby, for a picture, for a video, for shit like that, once it's there in the internet, it's there. You can't just target one person and it's gone. When other people understand how sensitive it is to you, nigga, they're going to go ahead to save that information and pass it around again. The moment it's reached the cycle of the internet, it's done. All you can do is make yourself look more guilty, pressing an individual to take it down. That's why he recorded that phone conversation.
From a past relationship. She also denies that she or her administration directed city funds or contracts to Marvin Walker, and her office says she never asked Bettison to intervene. Elaine Rojas Castillo, CBS News, Detroit.
I don't believe that. How adamant this man was about getting a hold of this dude, having the police snatch him up and search his items. Does that sound like somebody who didn't tell the police chief exactly what to do? All right. No, they want us to be stupid here, Halls, to some terms in here. No, you just got to walk around like you half dumb. All right. Never mind facts or things that come to your mind. Detroit mayor leaves event through the back door. This is somebody guilty. Here goes another one. You leaving an event through the back door. Why? What do you have to be ashamed of? All right. Because guess what? Rather you sitting in here with debate of another candidate, or you sitting out here running, trying to campaign to get your seat back. These questions are going to be asked to you either way. And now what you're reassuring here is that those questions will be pushed to the front over top of anything else serious and political. When you go ahead to try to minimize and hide and run and get up underneath of shit and then don't answer questions and look all funny and deflect, that's when a situation becomes worse for you and it starts to bite you in the ass. You deal with these situations head first. You call a press conference. You let the news ask any questions that they need to right then and there about that matter. And you do this in a respectful scene here, Halls, where you're not disrespecting the reporters and you're giving straight answers. All right? That way it's done. The longer you put this in the levee to hang, yeah, it's going to play against you come the time of election. If you're up for election like most of them around the places of November the 3rd, your ass is grass if you keep playing this situation to the left.
Story at 5. Unanswered questions into the controversy surrounding Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield, Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison, as well as photos and accusations surfacing on the internet. Thanks so much for joining us at 5. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly Gill. This story has a lot of moving parts, so let's get right to Erica Erickson. She's live in the newsroom. Erica, you've been knocking on doors, making calls all day to get some answers from some of the city's top officials.
Yeah, that's right, all day. And we reached out to the mayor's office pretty early this morning requesting an interview. It didn't go as planned.
On behalf of this administration, on behalf of the city of Detroit,
Local 4 giving Detroit Mayor Mary Sheffield a heads up that we wanted to ask her about the social media controversy surrounding her and Detroit's top cop. But after speaking at an event Friday, Sheffield leaving through a back door before we could get any clarification. Now, the situation a little messy, but here's the gist. Activist Jadante Smith says he'd been trying to meet with Sheffield for months to discuss an environmental issue, posting pics like these of Sheffield and her former partner, Marvin Walker. He says to draw attention to allegations involving Walker and potential real estate dealings. Smith then speaking with Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison on a recorded call.
This is my ask, and it's not a big ask at all. I would like for you to take those pictures down off your Facebook page.
He asked me several times to take my post down, and I refused.
Then Smith says Detroit police officers forcefully seized his phone earlier this month in retaliation. And since getting his phone back, says some contents had been deleted.
I think there were several policy violations, a Fourth Amendment violation, and I think my safety and just my peace of mind was violated that day.
But Detroit police tell Local 4 Friday Smith's phone seizure had nothing to do with the call with Bettison.
Yes, it did. If you deleting shit out his damn phone and he got evidence and you asking him to delete it, all right, y'all are looking at damn charges, dude. All right. No, you're violating his constitutional rights here, him as a journalist. And yes, any other journalists are going to stand back and behind this shit here because she just could have came forth and gave him an interview on the environmentalist issues here. You didn't have to get burnt with the other pictures. But because these bastards, the higher they get up politically, they feel like they don't have to speak to anybody below them, dude. It burnt her ass. All right. Now you want to retaliate late when it's too late. It's already on the internet. You can't just yank him. Like I said, there's other folks who have saved that photo and everything. And once you get finished with him, you got to go to everybody else. Thus, they had that title, "We're asking men to take it down." Well, the men are not the only people in possession of these photos here, dude. Once it's on the internet, it's for everybody. All right. Hold on.
But because Smith threatened a woman's life, a police report filed last month, adding that the call is about 25 minutes long and is taken out of context. Meanwhile, Sheffield says the private photos and communications by Smith have been used over the past year to, quote, bully, harass, and intimidate her, adding that Walker, who she admits she personally loaned tens of thousands of dollars to, is, quote, fabricating lies to protect himself from his own criminal and legal troubles. Sheffield previously denying Walker ever received city funds or a city contract, saying, quote, "I have never used the power of my office to instigate any action or inaction involving Mr. Walker, including through the Detroit Police Department."
Well, what the hell do you call the seizure of that young man's phone? Because it ain't worth shit with you sitting in here trying to tell us about how he threatened a young lady, but you don't have a young lady to produce that said that he threatened her. That makes you a liar, nigga. All right? No, you want credibility? Show us this person that he threatened, dude. If you don't have that person present, it's just hearsay, nigga. All right, well, then you violated a bunch of his constitutional rights. And you are using your damn job position here to hold pressure over top of him and possibly a whole lot of others, dude.
Friday, we tried contacting Walker and his former attorney again, but we still can't seem to find him. Walker, call Local 4 when you get a chance.
All right. Meanwhile, Smith says he's still seeking legal action, saying and adding in part, quote, "I don't feel safe. I feel like I'm being targeted for speaking the truth." Meanwhile, we did reach out to the Attorney General's office and the U.S. Attorney's office regarding this entire situation and those kickback allegations. We are waiting to hear back. Reporting live, Erica Erickson.
It can only get worse. That's it. It can only get worse. And speaking of worse, dude, all right, because I told y'all from the National Action Network, they had an individual here that came forth and, of course, calling upon our name and then trying to use that for the plight of Haitians. And that's not going to work, dude. All right, because yes, Black people have been targeted the most in this damn country, but we're speaking on the part of freedmen, dude. And when you speak upon the legacy of freedmen, nobody else is attached to our history other than us. We have cleared the path and cleared the way here for all of these folks to come in here and enjoy the spoils. And though I said in here, this is not to go ahead to per se to target people or to what have you. It's to set the record straight again here, dude, that what belongs to us based on what we have fought for will then come in here to benefit Black people, freedmen. All right. Not individuals in here that can give a shit about any of those contexts unless you drown it, nigga. Unless you suffering. All right. Now all of a sudden you remember that you can connect yourself to Blackness. That's not how this works, man.
Because we understand there is no United States of America without us. We understand that this country was built on the back of Black people, and we continue to hold that truth. As we see
but you weren't the back people that on the backs of where it was built, nigga. All right, loose terms in here.
We live under a dictatorship that is criminalized immigrants, specifically black immigrants. Understanding yesterday they deported U.S. children born to Haiti in the middle of the crisis. We say no more. We must stand united. We must stand on behalf of the suffering, because we must make sure that the dream that MLK started continues.
Yeah. Yeah, and that dream did not consist of giving immigrants a whole bunch of benefits with an economic background and how he put it there. All right. No, that dream ain't have nothing to do with that. It did not have anything to do with other people coming in here trying to benefit off of us here, because Trump was bringing immigration laws into place. Didn't have anything to do with that. Never did. Nor will it. All right. You acting in here, these folks in here with this energy as if it may make a difference here, Halls, if you put black in it. Well, let me go ahead to tell you some truth here for your ass. All right. You sitting up in here trying to treat our name like Rent-A-Center ain't no difference on the cases of how Trump boots gonna come down, because the white folks already realized that black folks in America, Friedman, have delineated years ago. All right. So you can't just bunch us up in here with these groups that are panicked and scared, because now it's time to put your boots to the ground. All right. And those, in that perspective, I go ahead to tell you here this quickly here, Halls. You on your own. All right. And there is no type of government background or backing in here that's going to run in here. All right. To help you re-secure your bullshit. That helped you underneath of the Democratic Party. You were able to float like that, dude, and be able to keep safekeeping. Underneath of this pathway, it's a rented microphone here for a second that at the end, this conversation in which we're having falls on deaf ears, family. That's it. We hear you just enough to not hear you, nigga. All right, right there. All right. No, I hear you just enough to not hear a damn thing you said. All right. Right. Moving on. You understand? And yes, Al Sharpton hosted that trash, National Action Network. That's how much it don't have any validity. All right. None. All right. You got to have juice yourself to give somebody else some. All right. That's just a fact. All right. No, I got to be popping, dude, to make sure that somebody else can pop off. All right. Right. If you don't got one or the other, then you sitting up in here fighting a dead fight to begin with. All right. No, sitting around here making alleged claims in here that you have no backing on. It's just you and your mouth and your gripe and whatever fear you feel from work just not getting done and ain't nobody hearing you. Freedmen are galvanized by the things that have to do with us year to date. And that is an easy goddamn front to back type of deal. All right. It requires no extras. We don't got to have nobody sitting in here playing as if they down with the code. You understand it, dude. All right. Without anybody sitting up in here trying to throw some shit together here. You get it. It's black first. It's Freedman based first. All right. Yes. That's what we've established. Something ice cold, baby. All right. No, something ice cold here. All right. That's all we have established. And we have established this with a range of consistency and not being bullshitters. Yes, indeed. Being able to point the future out here, show you where things are going and be 1,000% accurate. All right. Not hoping, pleading, and begging folks for shit that we ain't even fool with in the first place. All right. No, just so you can get your rights and whatever freedoms that you're supposed to get from this country and then turn your ass back around and snake bite us. We good, dude. All right. We've seen it already. All right. We straight, man. Ain't nobody confused about the circumstances of tomorrow dealing with these niggas. All right. Your future is based on what work you gonna put in for yourself and your nation. That is it, nigga. All right. Ain't no extra plight of black peoples to ride up off of, nigga, because you don't have anything legitimately to sail on. Just anger, hate, trolling, and a bunch of weird shit that ain't valued at nothing. All right. No, you couldn't put no value on it one way or the other. Just a bunch of mindless trolling. All right. You done? All right. Turn your ass around. Put these goddamn what you call it on, nigga. All right. Yeah. These zip ties and get your ass in the back of this damn van, nigga. We going to the airport. You finished? Huh? You finished or you done? All right. Yeah. Put these shits on, nigga, so we can go. All right. That's it. That's all you going to hear. All right. And they understand it comes with no damn repercussions here. All right. None. And I've showed y'all this from the video I've showed you from 3 days ago. You got the biggest marker ever from putting news in here today, from them taking the same funky ass news stories from 3 days ago, repackaging it, and then serving it to you again, talking about some, oh my God, look at what they doing. Who gives a shit? Are black people still being oppressed in America is what I asked you here. And if that answer is yes, dude, and you know how we feel, have we received reparations yet? No. Well, we don't have the physical capacity or energy to go deal with anything else. Everything is staked on this. And if that means turning the light on some of you niggas, and it is what it is, you're going to have to hold your own nuts. All right. Every battle in which we have fought in here in America has damn benefited everyone else. We don't need to do a goddamn thing, but wait for the damn benefits that's supposed to come to us. Now, what are we looking at? Donald Trump dropping people off in countries here, halls, in which they don't live. Now, I know I got this one more again. I'm going to spin it one more time.
Like this.
So they handcuffed you and shackled you?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of Central African Republic before?
No.
We've begun the largest deportation operation in American history.
America's doors are closed fully to asylum seekers.
I know if I was in Iran, they gonna kill.
And y'all peep the bullshit of this title here. All right. I want y'all to peep this too. This is from CNN News. The title says, how Trump is secretly deporting migrants. He don't got to secretly do nothing. And obviously it ain't a goddamn secret if we, you, and everybody else know that's not a secret. That's called information, nigga.
Kill me.
Les États-Unis c'est une superpuissance, mais c'est une puissance sans bon cœur.
The US Embassy staff have not been replying to us, but we're going to try and knock on the door just to see if they answer. So we are here in the Central African Republic in the city of Bangui, and this might all feel a million miles away from the US and from any kind of US immigration story. But this summer was the first time that I sent a deportation flight from the US to the Central African Republic. Over the last year, the Trump administration has quietly signed so-called third country deportation deals with at least 35 countries, often worth millions of dollars each, according to the tracking project Third Country Deportation Watch. But the details of these arrangements are shrouded in secrecy. It's been very hard to track down what has happened to these migrants since they've been brought here. They've sent me a pin, which we're trying to follow right now because we're trying to actually find the building they're being held in. So you can see this is the building we're looking for. And it should be about a minute away. That's it. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hello, can we come in?
No, 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 no.
No?
No.
Why? Pourquoi? Who can we get authorization from? The migrants have invited us to come in.
No, ici on ne reçoit pas.
You want to talk to anything regarding these people,
yeah?
You need to talk to the government. One, it has to be from president or minister of foreign affairs.
The minister of foreign affairs or the president. All right. And this is how much they're doing this here. Think about this here. This is to protect these citizens, these non-citizens as well. So if you're wondering, is the U.S. money working effectively to protect these people? Some of it, but in most courses, it doesn't. All right. Rwanda, places like that. The UK gave off somewhere upwards about $40 million or so, maybe a little bit more. But that was to take hundreds of damn near thousands of damn illegals. And I can guarantee you that that didn't benefit all of those damn people. These governments here are effed up, all right, depleted. So the second poorest damn country here in the world because the governments are so goddamn corrupt when it comes to spreading economics among the people. All right. So, yeah, it's dangerous for them being over here. But let me go ahead to put this other danger thing in here in security. Think about it like this here. You came to my country, right? You told me you're running from some type of predator, some beast, some horrible being or factor here. All right? So I can't send you back to your country. All right? But you can't sit here. All right. Thus, the U.S. made a negotiation here with this African country here to have you there. All right. Kicking a little bit of money and shit like that up front in a handshake. And then here comes the planes from the U.S. to there. This is how we got here. All right. Because you said you couldn't go home, right? We want to shield you from that. All right. 1 second. I want to make sure everybody understands.
So you're saying we need to get the president's permission to enter this building? All right, thank you. Here's what we know about how these migrants wound up here. At 8:58 p.m. on June 11th, 18 migrants from all over the world were brought to Alexandria Airport, Louisiana. They say they were handcuffed and shackled. Several claim they were severely beaten. 2 of the migrants say they refused to board the ICE deportation flight and were forced into a full-body restraint. Public records show ICE spent tens of thousands of dollars last year on restraints like the one seen here in a demo video, specifically for use on such flights. Other migrants we spoke to testified to witnessing this. A US official called the allegation a flat-out lie and denied anyone was beaten. The maker of one such restraint said it's a last resort tool intended to promote safety and prevent escalation.
This family member informed me that he was actually removed. And I paused for about 10 to 15 seconds, not understanding what is going on, because I didn't receive any sort of information. I had no knowledge, no notice.
This is the plane that was used. A return flight likely cost around $1.2 million, according to flight trackers, Human Rights First, local journalists, and publicly available figures from ICE. The charter company did not reply to us. Nearly 20 hours after takeoff and a refueling stop, it touched down in Bangui, Central African Republic. Since we're unable to enter the building they're being held in, we managed to arrange for them to meet us nearby. For some, this is the first time they've been outside since their arrival several weeks ago. Maybe I can just start with, where are you from originally?
I'm from Georgia.
You're from Georgia?
Yes. Egypt.
Egypt.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Iraq.
Iraq.
Jordan.
Jordan. So all different countries. How are you all doing here?
Doing here? Like at home.
Uses the description of like hell. And let's go ahead to see what he means like hell about.
Like hell?
Yeah. No internet, no electric, too much mosquito. Everybody have malaria.
Yep, everybody has malaria, too much mosquito, no electricity, no internet. Hey, but guess what? Your peoples are not going to kill you. All right, remember you said somebody was trying to kill you? All right, they ain't over there. All right, that's what you said you're running for. And he makes the damn bad decision to tell you, damn, yo, I might as well go home. Well, how about you should have never left that MF to begin with? All right. That's what happens when you try to get over, nigga. All right. People end up playing the same simple ass game you playing with them. All right. It was like, how do I end up here in a space, dude? All right, well, I'm in the second poorest country in the world, dude, and resources is scared. Malaria everywhere. God damn it. All right, everybody has damn malaria. No electricity, no internet. You sat there in front of the U.S. government and started playing games, nigga. All right, but they had a bigger joke for you. All right, okay, you can't go home, huh? All right, well, I got somewhere for you to go. It ain't here. You ain't gonna receive the checks that we give you every month, but I got something for you.
Yeah. Not safety. One time I'm going to travel outside and get some shopping. They arrested us.
خطفونا زي خطيفه، زمونا على مركز الامني، طلب منا مصاري، ما حدا طلع الا اليوم بس.
One of the most confounding questions is why migrants were sent here. The US State Department warns people do not travel here for risk of kidnapping and terrorism, and advises those who must to leave behind a DNA sample so they can be identified by their family. Russia has a strong presence here. Russian security forces are everywhere. Even a statue of Yevgeny Prigozhin, the late leader of the Wagner mercenaries.
What? Let me show y'all this. And people wonder why, dude. I started talking about this immigration stuff, and I always get to this point of cracking down. And look at this shit. What did I tell y'all? The biggest heroes that they be having in the continent, in the Caribbean, in their homeland, is white folks. Individuals who come in there, grab people by the damn throat, and start cracking down. These are they damn heroes. Now, if what I'm saying to you is not true, then why they ain't tear these goddamn statues down? Why do they even still exist? All right? This is their homeland. It's majority of quote-unquote black people over there. All right? But they don't have the same rider instinct because it's some type of damn love, dude. All right? No, for the hardcore, bald-headed white man who comes in here with his boots from Dixon Sports Goods and starts grabbing folks by the throat and cracking down, hoss. All right? Yes, that's what this shit right here on the screen shows. You got people getting kidnapped, violated, every damn thing else in this goddamn country. All right? And in the center of all of it, it's a big ass statue of not one white man, but two white men who were known generals for cracking down in their country. All right. And they're looked at like gods. Do you understand the damn, all right, mentally what's missing here when you try to compare this to a freedman? We would never have, never will, dude. All right. Every essence about our existence speaks upon opposing the damn white man, not trying to be like him. All right. Yeah. What's up with these funky ass statues right here? No, you would have to explain those people in here. You're living in the second poorest country in the world. This is the last thing that you need to have any example of where your pride lays at as a country. All right. Two statues of Russian white men here and bulletproof vests holding a walkie-talkie. All right. No, the heroes, family. All right. Hold on here.
Group. A lot of the migrants have told us that they are terrified to be here, and you can understand why. I mean, this is a country where there's been an ongoing civil war that's still taking place, but even here in Bangui, there's very high rates of violence, very high rates of criminality, and very high rates of, these armed groups operating here. I asked the police about the migrants' claims that they are part of the problem. Some of the migrants here that I've spoken to say that when they go outside, the police stop them and ask them for cash and threaten them.
No, c'est pas vrai. Parce que
I call it a lion funky tether. He knows that's the order of business because his funky ass is asking for money and intimidating people as well. They do certain shit here to people. If you don't know any of the circumstances of your rights, so they figure you can do this, you have no direct connection with the embassy, they will take your ass to some stranded lands and ask you for bread. And if you don't give them none, they'll leave your ass right there. All right. knowing that the village people and other folks in here more likely will kidnap you and harm you trying to make your way back to the damn resort, dude. That's why they always tell people to be careful leaving the resort. A nigga will hit you upside your head with an ox bone tail, nigga. All right? Yeah, a big ass, I hit you with an ox bone, all right, and kidnap you, man. All right? If they stay on the damn resort, dude, he's a liar.
Ces policiers-là effectuent juste des contrôles de sécurité. Demander de l'argent, je ne pense pas.
Most of the migrants we spoke with had more protection orders from US judges. This stops the government from sending them back to their home countries, where they're likely to face persecution, torture, or death.
And that's why it's like, all right, well, why y'all got them in this destitute place? Here is the damn government, all right, excuse for dropping you in the second poorest country in the damn world. All right. You said you're going to face torture, persecution, or death. Well, we know ain't nobody over here looking for you like that. All right. So, yeah, not yet. All right. So at least we can drop it until further notice, nigga. We can drop your ass off right here. And here's the documentation given to them by you. All right. That's why you said you needed entry into the U.S. You was scared that your uncle was going to do something to you, right? No, you was shook. All right. Well, then guess what, nigga? I got something for you. All right. It's called the second poorest country in the world, nigga. All right. No, ain't nobody, look, man, don't nobody even know you over there. What you talking about? All right. No, you won't be tortured. All right. No, ain't nobody going to abuse you, right? Ain't that what you ran from? All right. You cannot have it both ways, family, is what I'm saying. All right. You can't. You decided for the land of milk and honey, you would give any excuse, and you gave it. And they took that to flip it on its neck and send you over there. All right. That's the ending factor. That's the end game. No, what you said. All right.
This stops the government be deported, including to a third country. But that's all changed. Very little is known about what terms the CAR government agreed to with the US. What we do know is that on May 18th, just 1 month before the first deportation flight, State Department diplomats traveled here to meet with the president. For the past decade, the US has given just a few $1 million a year to the UN Migration Agency IOM's operations in CAR. But this year, that figure shot up to $85 million.
Yep. And that is the replacing and redistricting and dropping off of these people here. That thus, what you see at 2025, there ain't wasn't no money that was distributed. You go look over, it goes from no money distributed to jumping all the way up to $85 million given to the UN. That's to take care of the migrants. All right. And they become somewhat of the second to third party to decide where your ass is going to go at here and who the U.S. got to sign a contract with.
The US committed an additional $50 million to the CAR Humanitarian Fund. This is at a time when the Trump administration has been slashing billions of dollars in foreign assistance. We asked the IOM about the money they're receiving. They didn't respond to our specific questions, but told us the IOM has a long-standing presence in the CAR and they're receiving funding from a range of donors. Now, even Iranian democracy activists are not safe.
Still, I couldn't believe I'm here. This is for me unbelievable.
Activists, your ass needs to be in Iran, all right, being an activist for them on your soil, What the hell does it mean for you to be an Iranian activist on U.S. soil? You're not useful, nigga. All right? You're yelling across the pond. Get your nose and your boots in the middle of the damn fight. That's what makes you a true activist. Yeah, I'm talking shit about the U.S. government and all this bullshit, but I am on American soil, nigga. There's the difference. All right? No, I'm not sitting somewhere and damn Israel, or, all right, and God damn it, excuse me, in South Africa, talking shit about the atrocities of the damn U.S. and I ain't even nowhere near to do shit for my damn people. All right? Yeah, y'all wear this activism shit lightly. We don't. All right?
Like this woman, who we'll call Nika.
In the news from say we want send criminal people to country. I think we are a criminal, but we aren't criminal.
Her deportation comes at a remarkable time in Iran relations. A few years ago, Nika says that due to her activism, she and many people she knows were detained by the Islamic Revolutionary Guards.
I know if I was in Iran, they gonna kill me.
Well, Well, look at the beautiful U.S. and the UN saving your ass again. And instead of you sitting here being grateful, here comes the complaints. She just told you out her own mouth, they will kill me in Iran. Once again, that's what the paperwork said. If I come back home, guess what? The U.S. said you can't sit here, but we got a spot for you to occupy, baby. And we got a couple dollars to hold you down for a short period of time until you think about what you gonna do. For, hey, you're not gonna starve, but you ain't using no internet. You ain't using a whole bunch of electricity, and you will be surrounded by people that have malaria, nigga. All right? But ain't nobody gonna kill you. All right? That's what you said you were afraid of, right? All right? Yeah, they looking out for you. All right?
I lost too much of my friend. They killed them. And some of them are still in prison.
After escaping Iran, she made it to the US in 2024. She was detained at the border, but was thrilled to have made it to safety.
I was too much happy. America, one of the best country in the world. And I say, it's okay. Now I'm safe and I can make one new life here.
This January, widespread anti-Asian protests erupted in Iran. The regime launched an unprecedented crackdown. President Trump is on the way. The US and Israel went to war. Nika,
in my life, I was, and when I walk, all of my body shaking.
Nika had been living freely in California after more than a year in ICE detention. This DHS letter told her to come for a routine meeting in June, but another letter shows that a month earlier, the US had already decided to deport her.
Well, it shows that the U.S. government doesn't discriminate. You see, I don't have sympathy here if you can pass for white. I'm looking at what the law says. And you don't get special benefits over top of the Haitians, any of these other Africans, or the darker immigrants, dude, because you can pass for white. All right? No. You understand me? A lot of these folks come over here, put Caucasian on their driver's license. You assimilate into white society. You think they got your back until they show you something else here, Hoss. All right. And then you sitting up in here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. We're not doing this. You understand me? We ain't doing this. All right. Because that right there, this paperwork, is confirmation that your ass was supposed to be out of here. So whatever trick bag paperwork with the other shit that you got, you show you two pieces of paperwork. This one here, this piece of paperwork here. All right. Yeah. It's besides the point. If the first one said they already decided, you got to get your affairs in order, baby. All right. And it's not to sit here on a statement to say, hey, we're going to drop you off in Iran, the place that they said they're going to kill you. But we do have to relocate you. America can't afford to hold you. That's it. All right. Shit. Everybody needs to think before they make these rough, rogue decisions that you figure the rest of your life will be in the hands of the United States government. You weren't born here, dude. You are not entitled to shit if you entered our country illegally, dude. All right? No, you're not.
In ICE detention. This DHS letter told her to come for a routine meeting in June. But another letter shows that a month earlier, the US had already decided to deport her. When she showed up at the routine meeting, she was arrested. 3 days later, having lost her passport, they put her on the plane.
Now, all of a sudden here, and you don't think any lying is going down? All right? Person that broke in now, and they lost their passport all of a sudden. All right? When you know you got to hold on to your ass. Anything that you got to hold on to it. All right? And she happened to lose the most important piece of paperwork that's supposed to save her life. I don't believe that shit. Neither do you. All right? Nope. Don't believe it, nigga. Seems too damn convenient.
All of the way, they keep our hand to our body like this.
Has what's happened to you, your experience, has it changed the way you see America?
Every time I think they gonna protect me, but America not protect me. When they...
Baby, you're an adult. We cannot protect you from yourself. You want to involve yourself in certain politics in your country, knowing how brutal Iran is, and for some of these countries in here, I'm talking about when women say anything. I got a video posted up here that everybody's free to look at there on YouTube, and it's on Facebook there. But it's a video that shows places like Afghanistan and how they don't let a woman have a say-so and nothing. Use a driver's license. You can't leave out the house without a male escort. All right, they got it rugged. So I give a shout out and I tilt my hat here to some of the young ladies that are over there riding, because yes, the punishments are detrimental. They will kill you, dude. All right, and some of them still try to go out protesting in the middle of the street in Afghanistan, and when they do that, the soldiers just start walking up and shooting up in the goddamn air. All right, they just start busting off, nigga. All right, all that shit you get, them comforts in U.S. where you relax, dude, and you can have your picket signs and chant and say whatever you want. That's for here, nigga. All right, carry your ass over there to Afghanistan and start showing out like that. All right, they will beat your ass in the middle of the damn street, nigga, and won't nobody jump in. All right, hell yeah. I showed y'all a documentary, 2 days ago? I showed you a couple of them. All right, just to get people clear on what the now and what the order has been over there, which is vicious, dude. All right, people come up to America and switch up on the cases of what they naturally do at home, because you know in your country they would never let it go down. All right, beat you to an inch of your life in the middle of the street in broad daylight, nigga. All right, for trying to resist. And they follow circumstances of the Quran over in some of these countries, all the way down to the bone, nigga. All right, yes, foot in your ass, nigga. All right, all the time, every time, nigga. Foot in your ass. All right, you got a problem? You don't like the laws? Oh, it ain't comfortable for you? Foot in your ass, nigga. All right. You don't like what I just said? All right. All of that. You don't have a choice on all this freedom of speech, and I'm going to do whatever I want bullshit in these countries that are not America, dude, that are not westernized. All right. And they would like to keep their shit the way it is. This is why when the U.S. government went to leave Afghanistan, the Taliban came right out the mountains, nigga. All right. They think they did. They ain't dead, nigga. All right. They were hiding right there in plain sight. All right. And where did the Taliban go when they left the mountains, baby? Straight to the armory. Straight to the armory that Biden already let them know and the other people that the U.S. government was not going to be taking any of its arms with them. They were just there to collect the soldiers. So what was left in Trump's estimation was about $7 billion worth of arms left for the Taliban to take over. Tanks, pickup trucks, helicopters, AR-15s, handguns, bombs, RPGs, you name it. $7 billion worth of arms was left over there for those Afghanistans to use from the armory, dude. They went right there. This is why you've seen so many of them in the streets with damn AK-47s. That's all the U.S. governments, the tanks, everything that they were using. Up to date, nigga. All right? Yes, indeed. For all free. Huh? Free. So when they went around door to door, cleansing the goddamn the neighborhood, the country, looking for all the traitors who work for the U.S. government, dude, so they can behead you or put your ass to the sword. All right. This is what all the scared business was about, where you watch these folks grabbing a hold of a plane, shaking and shit, falling to their death at the airport. Remember all them people grabbing a hold of the planes? All right. That came because most of them folks in there had worked with the U.S. and they were afraid of what was going to happen to them because the Afghanistan folks, after they left the armory, they set up lists, nigga, to go door to door. All right. Any nigga that was up in here working with the U.S., you gotta go, nigga. And if we can't find you, we'll settle for your family members. That was the rules. All right. Put that goddamn furniture back where it was at, nigga. All right. 20 years ago. This is what they were administering. And it showed me something here, as I'm telling y'all here today. What it showed me here, Hoss, is that their priorities weren't taking all these weapons and going out to the outside and chasing the U.S. and No, it was their first priority was getting their home straightened out, nigga. All right, let's get the crib straightened out, dude. Move all my shit, the China closet, everything back to where it was at, nigga. All right. Yes, we're officially back to running our government, and the laws will change right back to what they were before the U.S. government came over here to tamper with our shit. Now, do I have a problem with that? No. All right. You ain't got no right to come up in there and change the rules on anybody else's government, nigga. No, you don't. If the U.S. wants to live a certain way, that's fine, but you don't have no right to force that on other nations, nigga. All right? No, you don't. A lot of them don't tolerate bussy activity, all this weird shit. None of it. They're not going for it. All right? Even in places like Jamaica, you will get the tire treatment for walking around here all moist and shit. They're not going for it. All right? Not at all. They have strict laws, dude. All right, well, you getting your ass whooped is the least of your worries, nigga. All right, that's the least you can ask for is an ass whooping. Do you understand? Good. Let's keep rolling.
You send me here, really I lose my hope again.
Nika is living in limbo. She's filing a federal lawsuit with the slim hope of returning to the US. Meanwhile, the migrants here have only been given 3-month visas to stay temporarily in the...
What did I tell you about how that money burns through quickly? And Rwanda, I want to say it was about 40 or 44 million that was given. And in their cases, what they did with that family is if they approved you for citizenship, you can stay up to 5 years. But then after that, you have to recertify for citizenship. And that's if you get approved, nigga. All right. Yes. 4 to 5 years. In this case here, they have shrinked it down to 4 months, and they getting more from the damn U.S. government, dude, than England was offering Rwanda. They getting at least $10 million more, and they letting these niggas know, hey, yeah, you can kick it for 4 months. All right. But after that, you got to get the hell out of here, Halls. All right. No, because if we're the second poorest country in the world, we can't afford to house you anyway. All right. Thus, you got 4 months, nigga. All right. Yeah, that's why I told you strict bylaws when you talk about the cases of America shifting foreigners into somebody else's country. There's rules, dude. And they're telling you here, yeah, you can sit down, yeah, for about 4 months. And then you're going to have to get your ass up, dude. All right. You gotta figure out where you're going. Hold on.
Is living in limbo. She's filing a federal lawsuit with the slim hope of returning to the US. Meanwhile, the migrants here have only been given 3-month visas to stay temporarily in the CAR. Each passing day brings a growing fear that she could be forced back to the country she fled.
Hi.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Nika had been hoping to join her uncle. He's lived in the US for nearly 3 decades.
She is shocked. I am shocked too. Still, I'm shocked.
Did you ever imagine this could happen? That the US would deport Iranians?
No. In the last 27 years I'm here, never I saw this kind of thing. Never.
Are you worried that she could be deported to Iran?
If they deported to Iran right away, they're going to execute her.
They're going
right away.
The Department of Homeland Security claims everyone here was given due process and had a final order of removal.
We have been trying to get hold of any US.
That is the security that protects their ass. All right, right there. Because the first thing a person gonna cry about is, damn, yo, I didn't get due process. I ain't get nothing. So that's the first thing they shouting out. Everybody's been given due process, and your ass is gonna be out of here. And guess what? Unlike the US, you can't necessarily claim some legitimacy over here, dude. Yeah, because they just dumped your ass off, so you can't really claim nothing. All right, hold on 1 second.
Officials to talk about what's been happening and why and how they've sent these migrants here, because they are ultimately the ones responsible. I mean, the State Department have emailed back saying, as a policy, we do not discuss diplomatic negotiations or funding mechanisms, and the US Embassy staff have not been replying to us, but we're going to try and knock on the door just to see if they answer.
If you've written a book and want to publish it to over 3 billion potential readers, now is your chance. Spines offers a new premium service that any writer could only dream of, publishing all across America.
So we just have some questions about the migrants that were brought here.
All questions have to go through them. I'm not authorized to answer any questions.
Okay.
And is there anyone else we can contact at the US Embassy?
The BD.gov, the email I gave you.
You are just going to ignore us and pretend that email never came. All right. Thank you.
Eventually, the State Department did get back to us. They did not reply to any of our detailed questions, but said the US will use foreign assistance to support countries that help us achieve our immigration priorities. It's a tacit admission the money sent to humanitarian causes like the IOM is tied to the deportations. Fidel Guanjica is a special advisor to the CAR's president. He also hosts a local radio show.
And he can't do nothing for you. He can't do shit for you. I already listened to this, and so there's so many other people in here. And the bottom line is he can't do a damn thing for you. All right? No, he can't. Let me go hit to something 4 hours ago. Why is Latin America turning against migrants inside of Latin America? Give me 1 second here. Give me a second. Just on your screen. Give me a second.
Millions of people fleeing conflict, economic collapse, and political repression. But that narrative is slowly changing as crime, economic pressure, and polarization are
All
changing.
right. Let's say in Latin America. All right. Hold on.
Debate. Governments in the region are adopting tougher immigration policies.
But there is an interesting exception to that changing narrative. I'm Monica Yanakiev in Brazil, America's largest country, its biggest economy, and the only Portuguese-speaking giant in a region dominated by Spanish. You might expect that language is a barrier that would make migrants reconsider. Instead, as countries around it tighten its borders, Brazil is becoming a magnet, offering legal status, the right to work, and access to public health care and education.
Across Latin America, a new generation of conservative leaders is framing migration as a matter of security, national sovereignty, and pressure on public services instead of a humanitarian responsibility. In Chile, far-right President José Antonio Cast has launched a border shield plan and proposed greater powers to detain and deport those in the country irregularly. In Peru, the government has strengthened border controls and declared a state of emergency in some areas across the border. In Ecuador, President Daniel Noboa has shifted away from earlier efforts to regularize Venezuelan immigrants.
And it's a key here to watch front and center as other countries assimilate into what Trump got going on. All right, there it is. No, in any friendly terms where you want to place it in a lighthearted way, I guess. All right, they've been able to sit back, look at how successful the immigrant situation has worked for Donald Trump, and then exploit these details. They're not the only one. Dubai, as I told y'all, banned Nigerians from ages of 18 or 19 to 40 from tourism. They can't even walk through to say what's up to get a look. That shit's been cut off, man. All right. Yes, indeed. Blame your elders. Blame niggas laying in the damn middle of the goddamn street talking about how they ain't going nowhere. This is just Dubai. There's other countries there too. But stricter damn laws on this immigration thing, period, that stops jokers from just chilling and laying up, dude. All right. Most countries sit back and look at the U.S. government as a model example of, all right, how we're supposed to carry ourselves with these migrants. And what you've seen here, somewhat refreshing to these other countries that want to practice white supremacy anyway, is, all right, well, the U.S. government got their foot in your ass. All right. So I'm pretty sure ain't nobody else going to pay attention to what we're doing. All right. But on an international scope, they are, dude. All right. People are paying attention well. All right. No, enough for this to have public effect here and to be sticking. Let's keep rolling.
And in Argentina, a country that has lost itself of being a nation of immigrants, President Javier Milei has taken a far more restrictive approach towards immigration.
Advertising police operations to detain and deport undocumented migrants. It's an example of the new approach to immigration under President Javier Milei, marking a sharp shift from Argentina's long-standing identity as a country that welcomes newcomers.
The Argentina that is coming will be a big country full of opportunity for those who respect the rules. Those who violate them will face the consequences. Because in Argentina, the one that does it pays for it.
In this neighborhood in La Plata, in the province of Buenos Aires, the shift has immigrants concerned. Natividad Obeso is from Peru. She came here 30 years ago, escaping violence in her country.
To blow smoke. Let's just slow her down as we get in here. Everybody has the same plight. This is what we're going ahead to get to. And my number one thing is, I tell people this all the time. There's nothing more better than you can do as a people than to make sure that you protect and seal up your homeland. because that's where the true battle will be fought here for your damn survival. At the end of the day, a lot of folks say they want to go back to their homeland after all of this shit. I don't blame you or what have you. If that's true, then that's great. But if it isn't, dude, other countries don't care. All right. Trump's administration have showed you from a realistic term how much individuals actually give a shit, dude. All right. Take the mask off. Take all the bullshit political talk away. Leave all the garbage that you would just talk about in a dumpster somewhere here, and open up a real ear to listen. And what you gonna find out here, Duke, is people give a shit off of the sakes politically here, Halls, if they're gonna be able to rub elbows with all the rest of these groups. If it's not a big priority to them, they're not gonna make it a big priority. All right, not at all, not a little bit. They ain't even gonna sit back to play with it. All right, yeah. For you know it, they sitting here flexing white supremacist authority, dude, and you have no reason. You don't have no inclination why. All right, most cases it starts from a national stance, baby. All right, nationally, you watch a country in here flex their cases of white supremacy, and the other ones go ahead to follow right on because they didn't want your ass over there in the first place, so they can discriminate upon anybody they want to. All right, there it goes. That's why fighting for your homeland is more important than anything, dude, because that's something that they can't just kick you out of, dude. All right, yeah, the energy and their people, it's a great investment. You know what's a horrible damn investment? Fighting for somebody else's damn soil, dude. All right. Yeah. Counterproductive. That's why I keep the extra joint right here. Because it's still rolling. All right. Even after that. You see that? No, we just got cut off in here. Whatever weird and messing with the stream is back around. Don't care. All right. We'll be back in a moment anyway, dude. All right. Whatever. I'll keep this stream up for an extra second just to talk shit.